back with the next episode. Missing another player again, but no big deal. Life gets in the way of all D&D all the time, and we know it. Doesn't ever want to work out. Artist is muted again.
He is.
Especially around the holidays.
Yes.
He's streaming, so he's probably talking to people.
True.
On his stream.
True. Just wanted to make sure he knows in case he's trying to tell us. Either way.
I knew.
Okay. Double checking. So obviously welcome everyone back, and we're glad to see LA again, and unless anyone has anything they want to say before we get started, we will just go ahead and start out. And since no one has interrupted me yet, saying I have something I want to say, I'll just go ahead and start. So, last we left off, we had started in the town of Hammerfall, kind of resting at a tavern after a long journey, after meeting a few interesting fellow people and kind of making your way to the town. Kind of thinking about what to do next and how to better get your standing in the town and learn in the city and learn more about it. We just had to look for work, see if there's anything else like the previous township you were in, finding anything that could be really helpful, maybe learn a bit more, maybe get a higher standing in the city if that is needed. And upon looking for different jobs, you found a few different interesting things, including something about some kind of problem with some workers disappearing in the sewer system, and seeing as something decently maybe easy to do, you decided to have that get tackled first. Even though it didn't sound quite as luxurious of a job, it was still something that maybe would get you in good standing. So upon kind of finding that and getting the info from that, you went over to the workhouse near one of these entrances with the foreman there, who was a half-orc gentleman that discussed with you a few things, but he didn't seem to know too much. And upon kind of telling you kind of where it was at and drawing you a crude map, you guys had entered the sewers, which seemed relatively clean for what you think a sewer system of a fairly large city would be. Still not extremely clean, but cleaner than most, and are what you would expect. And upon going through these dark tunnels for a while, dealing with the smell and everything like that, you had finally made it to a couple of these sites that these workers had been disappearing from. Not finding much at the beginning, but then finding some discarded tools and everything. You found some weird, strange slime on the wall, and upon interacting with it, realized it was some kind of amalgamation of a creature that decided to try to lunge at you. And after a quick splattering of them against the walls of melted cheese and thinking about eating them, you decided to continue to check and see if there was any other evidence at any of the other places. And upon going there and seeing some weird, strange floating tools, and upon immediately going to go investigate it, you realize that there was something else there. And upon immediately Walrus getting almost engulfed by it, this almost strange, translucent, large cube-like object, seemingly inside the sewers. You guys quickly dispatched it after pulling Walrus out, then Good Brain going in, then Walrus jumping in again, pulling Ludgrand out, or Good Brain out. God, my brain.
Probing him out.
Yeah, for sure. You'd just pushing him with your weapon from all the way from the other side in a feat that should not have worked, but did. And upon finishing that up and deciding that you guys were hurt enough that you needed to rest, even though it was in a not a very great place to rest, you decided to. And upon seeing as well all these smaller versions of this entity spattered about, and upon promptly stomping on a bunch of them and casting a bunch of spells with them, they've seemingly either all been taken care of, or there are none in the vicinity at the moment. And so you guys finished your rest up, and that's pretty much where we're starting. We're starting with you guys finishing up your rest inside the sewers. Again, the smell is not amazing. It's still cleaner than you expect. The only parts that are extremely dirty are inside the actual indent pit that's going in the middle that this liquid is going down at a pretty consistent pace. Mostly seems to be water, but obviously there's some stuff that's not water in it. And other than the smell, which at this point you've been down here a couple hours, you've gotten mostly used to. You guys are pretty well off, other than the little bit of slime and goo that you've mostly been able to clean off from the entities, but some still remains a little bit. So, what do you guys like to do?
How's everybody's health doing?
You guys used a bunch of hit dice, so I think everyone is good at the moment.
Okay, good.
My hand still kind of hurts, but other than that, I'm fine.
Before we go, I do think we should check some of the adjoining tunnels and make sure that there's nothing else here, that the job's actually done.
I could agree with that, yes.
No, sure, that's fine. Not gonna no more giant jello things.
I'm surprised you didn't eat it.
It hurt.
It was quite painful.
It was.
Yes, but you still bite into hot cheese knowing it's going to hurt. Since when's that stopped?
Well, yeah, I didn't have any toast. All right, I didn't have any toast.
Usually
Can't
that
eat
hot
jelly things
cheese
without toast.
doesn't reach out and try to eat you. So
That's true. It doesn't.
that is, the difference there.
Except
Shall
that
we
one
go?
time that I put a gnome in a thing of hot cheese and it tried to kill me. That's different.
Listen, what you do in the comfort of your own home behind closed doors is
It wasn't my home, and it wasn't behind closed doors. It was just
it's a figure of
we
speech.
wanted to see
I
what would
just mean
happen, and he got real angry, and
Don't
it
want
wasn't a
to
good time.
know what happens in your bedroom. That's all.
It wasn't in my bedroom. It was on a fucking field, and we
Once
just had
again,
a cauldron of cheese and
it was a figure of speech.
put the gnome in it, and
What you
Got
do
angry.
in your intimate times with your companions, that is your business. We are fine not hearing about it later.
Ethla just walks up to the walrus and he's like, "What good brand means is do what you do."
I am doing what I'm doing. I don't understand. I mean, he was upset, but he was fine eventually.
You should have used a safe word. Anyway, why don't we get going?
Where are we going?
We are just going to search around for a little bit longer. Artis, if you could keep making that map, we might be able to... If we can make a good enough map, they might be willing to purchase that as well.
I've been keeping track of where we are and where we've been. I think I've got the scale down now and it should be reasonably accurate.
Good. All right. Princess, with your leave.
Yeah.
Let's go.
You see her chewing on a ration that she has, and she's just like, "Oh, me?"
Yeah, basically.
Certain. Yeah, upon kind of getting up and starting to look around the tunnels, you do have the tunnel that you were going down where you met this creature. For now, you've kind of gone through most of the tunnels on the way. I mean, what I'm trying to say is there are a few tunnels you could still go back through on the way back, but if you're wanting to go farther in, there's only one direction. So assuming you want to go a little bit farther in just to check, you basically are just going to go straight past where you met this creature and continue along. So upon kind of doing that,
what time of day is it right now?
This point,
we've been underground, but can we guess?
No, I know, but you guys started pretty early.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's around 3 o'clock.
Okay.
probably your guess.
Let's just work until about sundown and see what we can find, make as good a map as we can, and clean the place out as best we can. And I think that will be a good job done.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Hmm.
Okay.
Sounds like a good plan. Yeah.
How about what can I make this best? How about both artist and good brand? Both of you make perception checks.
Perception.
I swear to God, if this tunnel turns out to be a mimic and it eats me, I'm gonna be so angry.
Is that good enough for you, Mr. D?
Yeah, it is. It is. So what you notice, and luckily you are using light, I'm assuming, as you've been
Yeah, I
using
have
the rest
light
of this
on my,
time, because it is the two people with no dark vision. But yeah, I'm assuming you guys are using this.
I just kept light on my base like a torch this whole time.
Yeah, artist, what you are starting to notice is, artist, also make do me a favor and also make an intelligence check. You're good at intelligence, so
Dun, dun, dun.
I just want to see if you notice this as you're going. Okay, you're definitely gonna notice this. So as you're starting to go, you start to notice that as much as you guys had taken care of, the little versions of this creature in the general area, you start to notice that as you continue down, you're starting to swear to the peak of, they're still really hard to notice. They're basically translucent and small. But you're starting to notice that you do see more of them, and you start to think about it, and you're starting to really watch, and you realize that even if this entity is able to create more of itself, it seems to be so far, like, as you continue, and it seems to be an hour, 2 hours of searching, there seems to be more and more and more of it. And you're starting to realize that maybe either this place is entirely infected with whatever this is, or they're here intentionally. And you're not 100% certain, but you're starting to make the connection that perhaps why you said there was the reason that there's not very much vermin, and maybe even why the sewers are so clean. This potentially might be the reason.
It's a very dangerous cleaning system they have here.
It's a terrible idea for cleaning.
Well, it's a terrible idea if you're going to send men down here, yes?
And
Well,
actually,
we got one big one.
I will say you do also notice, they do seem to mostly avoid you. Like, if you guys if you see one catch the light right in front of you guys, you see it move either away from you or moves like closer to the wall or even into the pit.
It's a sun sprite.
Yeah, it's like they're sewer Roombas, but there's a lot of them, and they're invisible pretty much. So you seeing how much there is, because unless it had been down here for months and months and months and somehow able to produce these, it just seems like too many for it to be accidental or things like that. So you'd have to confirm it, but that seems to be the case.
Is that we need to nuke the sewers?
Well, as we've been going along, I've been like blasting all of them that I
Yeah.
see. So,
And I mean, with your
oops.
perception check, you see a few,
yeah.
but there are a lot and all over the place. And again, they're mostly trying to avoid your group. You don't know if it's because of the reason you're blasting them, or it's just, or it's because they actually are trying to avoid people. You don't know, but you do blast some as you go for sure. Walrus, every once in a while, you squash one without even seeing it.
I would go out of my way to startle as many as I could.
Do we find any
Artist finds one small grouping that he happens to peek at and mentions. He's like, "Oh, there's a small grouping right there," and you just run forward and you just. It's hard to tell because they're translucent. You just see slime trails kind of going off for a second,
Good.
almost like they're pigeons.
That's what I do with pigeons. Hi, God, I fucking hate pigeons. Hate pigeons.
Pigeon gelatinous cubes. Okay, homebrew enemy idea.
Remains?
Homebrew enemy idea.
No, we don't need flying gelatinous cubes.
Homebrew enemy. Gelatinous birds.
Ooh, look what you've done. This
That
But it's
sounds like
kite.
nightmare fuel.
It is.
Gelatinous
We won't
kite.
see that for 20 levels. No, I'm kidding.
They're made out of strawberry jam.
Either way, about, as you said, going till sundown, so about 3-ish hours of you guys like trying to map the sewers as best you can, while also trying to clear out the rest of it. You don't see anything more strange than that. Again, they seem relatively clean. There's not much around. But mapping the sewers is difficult. You do not get, there's no way. You'd have to have multiple days down here to get probably what is the entire network. But you feel like taking that time to generally map this area out, you've gotten a decent amount done, and you feel fairly accurate to how it is structured. But taking the time and kind of knowing now how some of the tunnels connect, you're able to take only about an additional 45 minutes to traverse your way back out of the sewers, to the same entrance that you had, or the same exit that you had entered from. And seeing like the rusted ladder at the bottom, kind of realizing that some of the shorter members will have to be kind of hoisted up a hair to do that. So upon kind of doing that with a few shorter ones, with leaving pretty much the walrus for last, because he can basically just go like this and get up there. You all make your way one at a time up the ladder, and let's say Artist is probably the first one out. You do see Artist that kind of in that small room that you guys had entered through this entrance. You see kind of down near the main doorway of it, is the half-orc gentleman, just kind of leaning against the wall. And then he kind of hears your approach up the ladder and kind of looks over, and he's just like, I made it out. Didn't eat you alive in there.
So, you knew that there were things down there that eat people.
You see a look of instinct confusion on his face. What?
Yes. It seems that well, at least he thinks that your city is putting things down there that, well, they clean everything. And
There's also
by
living
everything,
cheese.
I mean everything.
You see him look a little bit confused for a minute, and he goes, you mean the, what do they call them? Oh, we just usually call them scrubbers. I don't know what else they're called. The little
Yes,
guys?
the scrubbers. No, there was a big one.
You see the look of confusion grow a bit.
Larger than 3 or 4 men.
That's... I don't know much about that stuff, but that wasn't down there before.
We found your compatriots. We found their skeletons along with their work tools inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
No, you see him kind of actually like bend forward a little bit. And he's like, oh, kind of hoping they were just idiots and got lost. Uh-oh.
That is not to mention the boiling cheese.
Yeah, that
monster.
was gross.
It
Looked
was
delicious, but it was gross.
It did look tasty at
It
first, yes. But then it tried to kill us. So
Yep, it did.
there's a lot of problems.
Are you
down in
certain
your
the
sewers.
smell didn't get to your heads? You're telling me melted cheese tried to eat you?
Well, I'm certain that melted cheese tried to eat us.
Wouldn't be the
yes.
first time.
And I am also certain that that smell was not enough to dull my senses, yes. It was actually rather clean down there.
He's gonna narrow his eyes a little
I've been
bit.
in worse situations.
Hey,
Have you ever been on a battlefield? There's way more shit there, I will tell you that much.
Roll an intimidation check. I kind of like that idea.
Okay.
That
All
was
right.
that was an intense line. That's enough for an intimidation check. I want to just.
That
see.
wasn't a lie.
No, I said a line.
Line. Oh, okay.
That was an intense line.
You've never been on a battlefield.
Well, he knows love is a
Shitty.
battlefield. Whoa. No, I'm kidding.
We are young. No one can tell us we're. Sorry.
If you did that, you maybe would have even had a bet. No, I'm kidding. Either way, you kind of give him that line, and he for a second is just his eyes go a little bit wider, and kind of looks you up and down and go, I understand.
Not younger.
Still, didn't think anything that dangerous was down there. Assume they didn't know where they were going, like obvious. Well, seems like you all made it out, which is good. Assuming
We
it.
all need better maps.
Well, but unfortunately, it's hard to get a person who's good at that thing going down there. There's old tunnels. There's some new stuff they've made. I don't know.
Who would be in charge of such a thing?
I mean, I'm technically in charge of this, but I'm also contracted by the city. I'm assuming it's technically, I don't know, there's not really a person. It's more of just the leadership.
We are new here. I don't know who your leadership is.
Hold up. I'm making sure I have it pulled up.
It's the people that lead.
It's the people that lead. He kind of goes, I don't really go into politics, but there is, there's the Jarl of the city.
Really?
I know that. And he's got a couple people under him that is tasked to do a few other things. Like, I think one of them is supposed to work is the captain of the guard. And then there's like two others. I don't really know what they do. And I think one of them.
The civil issues. Is there a steward?
Yeah, there's a steward. I guess that's what you call him.
That's what we called him back home, but yes.
Well, this is the map that I've made while we've been down here, just to show you in comparison to the original one that you gave us. Perhaps it could be a job for us to come down and map this for you over a few days.
He gives a look at it and he goes. It takes him a minute to look at it and he goes, oh, okay, so this is where this is. Oh, this looks. Yeah, this looks right. It'd be nice to have something like this for the newbies.
Maybe
I'll see.
you could
I'll have
teach
to.
them to avoid the boiling cheese and giant liquid death creatures.
Mhm.
I mean, to my knowledge, those things are brand new, and I've been here for what, 12 years?
It
Oh,
was almost invisible. You may not have noticed them. It was basically like floating water.
I mean, I've been through all those sewers more than you can count at some point. And other than the little guys, there hadn't been anything down there yet. Couple rats. Usually they
And
get
there
taken
may
care
be
of.
something worse going on here.
Maybe someone released something in the sewers.
No, I think
That is-
Maybe they.
I'm sorry, I
unionized.
don't mean to contradict you, Princess, but never mind.
No. What do you think?
Well, it could have just grown from them And I don't think that it was released. There were plenty of that thing down there. So, if it could have been cultivated down there. I don't know whether it was on purpose or not. I would prefer it be on purpose, then we could stop whoever did it. But if it just happened because that's what these things do, that is very dangerous.
On purpose would be
Fix it.
better. Yes. Mutating, not so much.
That is a lot harder to fix.
What if it's like, if they get broken up into smaller ones, the smaller ones are like, oh, what do we do? But if they get like enough of them in a group and they eat enough, and then, oh wait, no, what if one of the guys fell down into a pile of little ones and they all ate him, and then that's what made it grow into a big one?
That is surprisingly intelligent.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's kind of like 3 halflings in a trench coat.
that is sort of what I was thinking, yes.
3 halflings in a trench coat?
Well, it's a good analogy. Not exactly what I was thinking, but yes.
Oh, yeah, because that guy was weird.
They all grouped up together into one large mass.
Yeah, because they ate enough.
Yes.
Like, eating rats probably ain't enough food, but like a dude.
Yes.
Oh god, what if I died? Oh, that would have been huge.
They would have been fed for years.
I don't know about that, but it would have been a big, big cube.
Well, we don't need to have this conversation here with this man. We can go. Where might we find the town steward?
If you go, I'm not good at giving directions. I was not in the sewer. If you go, I think down that. Well, if you go down 2 layers, I think if you go from that, go take a left, and he gives you a few other directions. I'm not gonna go through all of them.
Yeah, no worries.
They're not the best. You might have to ask around a little bit, but you have a general location of where it is. For sure.
We appreciate your assistance, and watch out for boiling cheese and giant liquid creatures.
Don't fall down. Don't put big creatures down there. Don't, stuff like that.
Yes, for now, just be very careful. Send this few, group up. Don't be alone. And keep a torch or something. They are very hard to see.
Yeah, we have light that we take down, but yeah, we will, for sure. I gotta get a couple more people soon trained on this.
In fact, you might. Something we used to do in the old days is we would bring a 10-foot pole with us into such gatherings and things, and tap in front, and that way, if there was something like that, it would hit the pole first. You might want to.
Or just
start
get, like,
doing that.
spiky shoes.
The spiky shoes would not help.
What if you're walking around, you step on one, it goes, and then it's dead, and there you go, because you got spikes on your shoes.
But that would not prevent them from walking into one of the big ones always.
But if there's not a big one, then they just got to
False.
murder the little ones.
They don't. They are cleaning the sewer. They are necessary
but
for the
it's like
ecosystem of the
Population
dungeon.
control.
That is what they do.
Population control. You step on a few, the others learn not to group up. You put some fear into them.
I don't think that those things can learn.
I don't know. Can't pick them up, that's for sure.
They don't have any form. Anyway, like I said, invest in some 10-foot poles
And spiky shoes.
and spiky shoes.
That's all noted.
All right.
I'll see what I could get done, but hopefully either there or where you got that job posting will be able to pay you at some point. I'll have to give word. I know it takes a little bit of time because nothing moves fast, but we'll get. I'll let them know once I grab a couple things.
That is appreciated.
No. It's appreciated that you dealt with the cheese, I guess.
always happy to deal with cheese.
I'll be sure to keep that in mind.
Usually I prefer to eat it.
Unless it's owlberry cheese. I don't want to eat that again.
All right.
Owlbears produce milk?
Apparently.
Huh. That is interesting. I will have to try that someday.
It was horrible. Don't try it.
We're walking out and
I
walking
I
towards like
assume-
the thing. At this
I'm
point.
starting to assume that. Yeah, I was starting to assume that.
This is just us walking down the street having stupid conversations.
I kind of assume that. So where are you all going then? What's the plan of where you're?
I want to head to the steward.
Certainly, you can do that.
Did we have any other jobs other than this? Other than this?
No.
Okay. I
you'd
remember.
you'd picked up a couple of either strange occurrences and like one or two other like odd jobs, but this was the one that you guys really was thinking about. And I'd have to pull up my list again at some point to make sure. But yeah, you can head that way. So who's taking point on looking for this? I know you guys got directions, but again, you're gonna have to take some time to look for it.
What kind of like? I guess I could ask around, or I could just use like survival skills or something like that.
If you're just looking around, I'll let it be perception. If you're asking people and trying to figure that out, I'll let it be investigation.
Well, I'm definitely not asking people. If anyone was going to ask people, it would need to be either L or Efla. But
I
to
mean,
you.
I would say we would look around and I would ask if we were struggling.
okay, I'll do a perception check then, real quick.
Yeah, 22. It doesn't take you that long. The
Don't
directions
worry, I think I know where to go.
weren't amazing, but after a couple more turns, you do find a kind of slightly larger building than a few of the other ones that is kind of set kind of in the main part of this layer of the city, and kind of realizing pretty quickly that the words above it do mean it says civil services and what is the other word? I can't think of it right now for some reason, but it mainly says civil services, and you realize this is the place that you're looking for sure. Who are you specifically looking for inside?
Really, just any clerk that I can
Oh,
talk to at this
That's
point.
nice.
Sure. So yeah, walking in, there's a few clerks. A couple of them seem occupied with other people at the moment, but there are a couple that are pretty available. So you kind of just walk up to the first one, which is kind of just a human male that's kind of there, and he's just like, "Yeah, can I help you? Yeah, you need anything?"
We are looking for information on your sewage system and for whoever might be in charge of that.
Kind of.
There have been a few deaths, and there are some questions, and well, I need to know who's in charge.
All right, and he kind of takes a moment. And he kind of leans over to the side, and you can see what looks like a kind of a long row of smaller parchments, and he kind of starts looking through. And he goes, "The foreman of the sewers is named Sunez. He's a half-orc gentleman. He works down a couple layers above us. He reports to Elias. He works in this office. If you're looking for reporting deaths or dead bodies, that's gonna be... Nope, not there. Nope, not there. Nope. It takes actually like a good 5 minutes for him to continue to search. There's a lot that he's looking through until he finally pulls out a new card and he goes, "Oh, yes, it looks like Father Jebediah think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, he's the main one on death and everything like that, and reporting workers and dead people and stuff like that. It happens a lot more than you would think, but it's still a safe city.
Right.
Wait, what else did you need?
I need to know who is in charge of who is in charge of your city works, your sewage systems, your bridges, your construction.
Elias is the main coordinator of that. I mean, he works directly under the Jarl, and kind of commands all of it at the moment.
How can I set up a meeting with Elias?
Well, he's gone for the day. I don't know. Let me look and see. And he kind of walks over towards another doorway and kind of walks past it, and you kind of lose sight of him down a hallway for a moment, and then about 3 or 4 minutes later, he comes back and he's like, he's not available till like after 2 o'clock ish tomorrow. But other than that, he could see someone after that if you're still looking to do something. Yeah, here. His office is here.
How does the
back.
city function if the leaders are gone so often?
Well, I mean, it's after dinner time. I mean, I'm only working here because I have the night shift. I don't like it, though.
Makes sense.
I mean, guess it was meant to be his day off.
You could ask him. You could ask him.
All right, then we will get them. Then when is the next meeting? Is there a schedule that you put us on? Or?
I mean, I could set you up for at about that time. It would be about 2 hours after midday. I could set you up, and unless his other meeting goes long, you should be able to see him for an hour if you need it. I don't know how long you're gonna take.
Neither do I, but just put it down. I don't want to come here and find out.
I'll go tell him right now. And you see him kind of pull up a quill, and he kind of.
You said that he wasn't.
No, I'm gonna go tell his assistant who makes a schedule.
All right.
That's what I'm gonna work it up the chain. That's how it works.
Goddamn bureaucracy. That's why I left. Anyway,
There's really no other time. No time prior to 2.
I very much doubt that it will. I don't think anyone will die between now and then, Princess.
People die every day.
Well, usually they don't get eaten by giant masses of something transparent.
Does it technically eat you, or does it just dissolve you?
Well, think about... If you know anything about anatomy, then you understand that when you eat something, it drops into a pouch inside of your body, and there is acid in there, and it dissolves it. So eating is dissolving.
Well, no, because your stomach's not eating it. Your stomach's dissolving it. What if they're just giant stomachs?
If you're looking for creature anatomy workshops, those are always run by Lone Snowflake on the 3rd Thursday of every month. Or the 3rd, I forgot the name of the day. It's not Thursday. I don't know it in my brain.
It's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
No.
Thursday.
Wednesday.
No, I thought about it. No, there's a different name that I could take a minute to pull it up, but
yes, please.
All right.
I'd
Okay.
like to know when.
I can. I'm serious. I have a full calendar. I know
he does. He does.
Yeah, I'm not kidding.
Inquiring minds like mine want to know.
This man has moon phases.
I do. I do have that as well.
What phase of the moon are we in right now?
I'd have to look at what date it is, because
How many moons are there?
there is 1 moon.
Okay. All right. It's not very fantastic.
The
Is it?
disappointment.
But
But
I think
We should know.
if I remember right, it is a slightly longer cycle than our moon, and also
Does the moon have a name?
yes,
Gregory.
I would have to pull that up because I don't these are questions that no one asks, so I don't ever have it like ready in my brain.
I like that the moon is Gregory. That's
You can name the moon Gregory if that's what you want.
it's Greg when it's half full.
I do have a world anvil. I need to eventually add people on or post a link or something.
When it's a full moon, it's Sir Gregory the Third. His name just gets shorter as it goes.
Let me log in. Okay.
Eventually, they just call it G.
Yeah.
All right.
When it's new moon, it's just
all right.
G.
Here's all the days if you want to know it. It's Moon Day, Toll Day, Whale Day, Oath Day, Fire Day, Star Day, Saints Day. Oh, and I'm somehow listening to myself.
Yeah, there was a
It was a very sudden thing.
Oh, because
No,
I
wait,
forgot my
today's-
World Anvil's linked to my Twitch. That's why.
Today's Whale Day? Or
Today is I'm gonna actually look because it is going to be today would be it actually is Whale Day, which would be Wednesday in the real world. It is the 14th. It's the 14th of Fell Night, which is the last month of the year.
So the next meeting is tomorrow. That's good to know. Thank you. You have us penned in for 2:00 then.
Yes, actually, the funny thing is, I said it's the third Oath Day. The third Oath Day of the month would be tomorrow. So you could go. You could seriously go. You don't.
That is the next session, man. You need to plan an entire.
You don't think I already have it?
seminar.
You don't think I already? You don't think I already have a lecture ready? I
We're going
don't,
to
but I could make it
school,
up.
folks.
We need a seminar.
We are doing a high school rom-com, and it is happening.
We could do it. I'm not kidding. I don't throw that stuff in the world thinking that you guys would never go to it. I'm like, no, if I throw this out, they could totally go to it, and I'm fine with it.
Do you have a schedule of the other community events within the community? Do you want to go to other lectures, perhaps?
He kind of looks through a few things. He kind of I'll say there are a lot. Is there something you're more particularly interested in? Because it is a fairly big city, so there is a lot of those kinds of things. You're looking for something.
I'm looking for, like, when you're going to college for the first time, you're flipping through the book, like that one.
Okay. So you're just looking for one at random, or are you looking for one for the next day, or are you looking... Because I could make up a million things right now.
We need to do
if we wanted
something
to.
until 2:00. So
What is happening today?
Today?
are there any pottery classes tonight?
Tonight. He looks through it, and he goes, apparently one of the only things tonight is... What's his name? And he kind of looks... He kind of squints for a little bit. Farron, I think, is how you pronounce that. I'm terrible at this thing. Farron is hosting a potion making workshop at his shop on the second layer, looks like. The only thing for later tonight, it starts in like an hour-ish, I think.
Potions could be interesting.
We could learn how to make medicines along the way.
Do not know much about potions, so I would not mind.
And then learn Snowflake tomorrow with his creature anatomy workshop.
This all sounds.
we're just gonna go to school the rest of this campaign.
I will make it.
Got my
We
notebook.
all have to earn PhDs.
Yes.
And the big bad evil guy is the principal.
Mm-hmm,
Or the school bully. Either one. Or both. They work together.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, it's just the demons that attack the school. If I ever go by any good anime, it's going to be the demons that attack the school
Oh,
constantly.
the emo kids?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I'll make one-shots. I don't care. I've done it before. I actually have a really good one-shot idea that I'm not going to go over because I want it to be a surprise, but it's kind of similar to what you're describing in a weird way. So
Have you ever listened to the Adventure Zone? Their newest campaign is about going
Yeah.
to a magical school. It's really, I mean, I'm way far behind, but it's cool.
Didn't
Yeah, I need to
what's that
catch up
guy's
on
name?
that.
Oh fuck! It's the College Humor people. Didn't they do a high school one?
They did a high
Yeah.
school one. I haven't watched
Yeah,
it,
that's what I thought.
but they did a high
No,
school
neither have
one.
I. All I know is there's a corn monster and they jump in its ass.
Yeah, I've only watched one episode of that, and it was the first episode of the like toys and tiny people one
Oh, okay.
with Rick Diggins, one of the greatest characters ever. Anyway,
Yeah.
we
Anyway.
have completely
Anyways.
gotten off track.
No, that's fine. It happens. It happens. That's perfectly fine. Other than that, there's nothing tonight. Kind of a community events. If you want to look for there is one thing tomorrow or late morning. That he says there is one. He kind of brings up. He's like, there's one thing tomorrow, like later in the day. You were talking about looking for stuff. It seems like one of the taverns is holding, what is this? A pie eating contest at some point. I don't know if any of you are interested in that. That's about it. That's
Walrus
happening in
is
the next 2
completely
days.
checked out from
Huh?
this conversation.
You're kind of glad you didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Figured he would jump at that.
What happened?
Nothing.
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
What?
All right. I don't know. You
Just-
What?
Just
talk
keep
about
thinking
learning,
about
and
cheese.
I was learning, and
Thank you.
Yes, we're gonna learn how to
Real
make
help.
potions tonight.
I don't want to do that. It sounds horrible. I learned like one time, and it was terrible.
Maybe the potions will taste good.
They never do. They always taste bad, and I end up like blue, or like having a weird nose.
Oh, that sounds
Maybe
quite
you
fun.
could make a potion that makes your food taste good.
Food
we
always
give
tastes good.
this guy a silver piece for his trouble.
You see him actually like look at it for a second and take it, and he kind of straightens up a little bit more than he did a second ago. He's like, well, I do appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm already walking out.
That's fine. He just says thank you as you walk out.
Yeah.
And the rest of the group follows. So are you guys going to the potion shop?
Yes.
That's fine. I'm fine with it.
Definitely. Yeah.
I gave
I
it
want to learn how to
to
make
you.
potions.
You don't think I throw random shit out and hope you guys do it. That's
yeah, no.
exactly. So yeah, describing the location, you do have to take one of these lifts up a couple layers until you arrive at the layer that he described. And going in, it's actually not that hard to find because it's one of the more unique buildings that you've seen around. It is made of mostly wood, but it seems to be like carved, almost like someone has come in after it was built and like almost carved what look kind of like totem poles, where the four main pillars on the corners are, of just like what looks like different creatures and animals and things like that just kind of go all the way up, and what even look like small carvings and just the base wood of like different swirled designs and everything that looks like it's inlaid with some kind of like blue material. You're not entirely sure, but something that just gives like a distinct little bluish glow. And you see that the name of the shop is called Farron's Oils and Elixirs. But as the name on the shop,
Oils and elixirs, they will do the trick, sir.
yes, they will definitely do the trick, sir.
That's to the tune of the fucking meat pie song from Sweetie Todd.
It's not the meat pie song. It's like I think it's the barber guy. It's oils and they will do the trick, sir. Like
Oh no, it's right. No, it is. Yeah, it's the barber
Yeah.
one. I thought he did.
Yeah.
I thought he did the same. No, not important.
It's
we don't need to talk about
kid,
Sweetie
the
Todd.
kid sings it anyway.
Yeah, the kid. I think he
It's been
sings
years
the-
since I've seen it, but I remember that song for some reason.
It's just a great song. That whole musical is amazing.
Are you guys heading in?
Yes, definitely.
Mhm.
Are we
So,
here?
Listen, Walrus.
Ah.
Just sit in the back and try to amuse yourself, okay? This is
I can do that. I
this.
wonder if I could juggle.
Don't drink it.
Don't juggle inside this shop. There's lots of glass things. If you want to juggle, go outside, okay? All right.
Fine.
Okay. Good boy. Uh,
I'm just gonna sit down outside the shop on the ground.
all right.
Okay.
You just say, and if you're good,
Yeah,
We'll
if
buy
you're
you
good,
a
we'll buy
nice
you a lolly, okay?
Okay, so the would Efla go? Yeah, Efla would go. There's no way you wouldn't go. So the four of you walk in to this shop. And it's a decent sized shop. It's yeah, it's a bigger building than a lot of the ones around. And kind of looking around, you have started to you do notice that there's seemingly like racks kind of built into the wall of these different vials, things like that. Some of them are just empty at the moment. Maybe they're for sale, or maybe he has them set for when he's going to put potions in. But some seem full of different sizes, shapes, coloration, of varying degrees. And some of them seem to be labeled, some of them seem to not be, of different kinds of potions. What you do see is if it looks like a couple of the shelves that were set in the middle have been kind of shoved over to the side, and now there seems to be like kind of a few tables that have just been kind of set out with what looks like different equipment and things that have been kind of set out along the whole thing. And kind of looking around, there doesn't seem to be anyone at the moment until you hear and then you look to the back where the sound is, and you see what looks like purplish kind of smoke kind of coming up from behind from the side of a doorway, and you just hear as a gentleman, an elven gentleman with longer kind of dark hair, black, very nice attire, and a little bit of jewelry, kind of comes out, kind of waving his hand and coughing. He's like, that did not work out as planned. All right. And he kind of looks over and he's like, oh, hello.
Are you Farron?
That's embarrassing a little bit. Yes, I am Farron. I see that you read the sign, which most people do not. That's good that you know that this isn't a butchery or any other shop, really. That you've read the sign and know what kind of shop this is, which is good and not confusing.
How would someone assume it is a butchery? There's no meat.
Well, people
No,
walk
no,
in
not
and
meat.
go, "Where's the meat?" And I go, "This isn't a butchery. Did you read the sign out front?" And they go, "Reading? I don't do that." And I go, "Okay, well, I'm not a butchery." And then they leave. It's always weird. It happens way more often than you expect.
Is there a butcher near you?
No, there's not even a butcher near here. I don't know how people get that lost, to be honest.
Hmm.
People don't read. I've learned that. Maybe they don't know how. Maybe I should start teaching people how to read. I feel like that would be hard, though.
Well, speaking of teaching, we were told that you teach a course here.
Oh, you're here.
Tonight?
Oh, you are here for that. I haven't had people come in a while. That's great. That's awesome.
Well, I mean, never mind.
What? No, that's just because it's not something that I guess generally people are very interested in.
Hmm.
Oh, you're worried for your safety.
A little, yes.
Oh, well, don't worry. And he kind of pulls out what looks like a very small hat that looks to be made of some kind of like metallic thing. And he kind of puts it on. And he's like, "We are safe here for sure." That didn't ease your pain, did it?
Not really.
Do not worry. No one has been maimed or injured this month. No, I'm kidding. No, you are gonna be fine. Stuff like that only happens when I experiment. I wouldn't experiment during a class, except for that one time. But we're not gonna talk about that. I'm trying to do jokes to ease the tension, but I see that's not working, so I'm gonna stop doing that and just tell you,
Yes,
don't worry.
You are just making it
everything's
worse.
well, you just don't. I thought I thought you were a funny man. Doesn't seem like it. You seem like the more serious type, so I will stop doing it. For sure. Anyway. Ooh. This is a little bit more awkward than I thought it would be. Well, since this is awkward anyway, and you guys are here wanting to do this, and I doubt any more people are going to show up, you just want to get started then?
Yes.
That was
Yes.
one yes. That was two yeses.
Yes, I pick up like a beaker or something, whatever glass is in front of me.
Yeah, you peek up. Yeah, what is basically like a beaker. It's just a slightly different shape than what a normal beaker would be. And he's just like,
I'm gonna cast Warding Bond.
how long does that last?
I think like an hour. Hold on.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I don't think it will matter. I'm just more
Yeah,
curious.
1 hour.
than
It
anything.
lasts an hour.
Okay, that'll probably last the whole class, so it'll be fine. I'm just curious. Sure. And he goes, "Oh yes, that's just a simple beaker we use for the third step. Not a big deal. Don't break it. It's hard to make those things. I don't think you will though. Y'all seem a little bit more competent than few of the people I've tried to teach this to, so it's fine. Were you interested in any kind of elixir, oil, brew, potion kind of thing that you were looking at trying to figure out? I mean, they're very complicated, so if you go too far with it, you're not going to get it done. But
I am somewhat of a healer, but I only have so much power per day, so it would be helpful to know how to.
healing potions are a hard thing to do. They do take a lot of time and money. I could teach you a very basic healing, almost like it could be salve or it could be drunk at the same time. That will heal you a very tiny bit. It's not going to be as good as a regular healing potion. He kind of points over to a rack of a few that he has. He's like, it's not going to be as good as those. That takes a lot of training and time to figure out. But I could teach you something that'll work.
Well, that would be helpful, as well as is there something simple that we could use to maybe hurt somebody?
Yeah, or even
Well,
something that
Not
you-
somebody, but something. We are. We are. What they call them here?
You're the adventurer
rat catchers.
types. You can tell by your
Yes.
garb
Yes.
and the wanting to heal.
We get in situations, so something that would, make us stronger or hurt our enemies would be helpful. If
I
that
mean, it
might be
depends on
simple.
how much time you want to take, but
Hmm.
Is it possible to make a potion I can throw, and when the vial breaks, it'll silence everyone? Or another potion I can just throw and poof, smoke, and I disappear.
the silence thing, no. That's more of an enchantment kind of thing you'd have to get done. The smoke, for certain. Would you disappear? No, you would become clouded by the smoke. I can definitely teach you some easy, like, little vial of smoke kind of tricks. For sure. You won't necessarily, I guess, like, disappear. Like, you won't turn invisible.
Well,
That's a
Batman
whole
up in this
different thing.
bitch.
But yeah, you could make a lot of smoke easily. I just did it on accident a minute ago.
A distraction
What
would
was
be
it you were
nice.
working on?
Oh, I was trying. See, there are these potions that make you more resilient. And they can do kind of different aspects, and I was trying to see if I could combine them all into one, like, very powerful, potent potion. And they don't mix well. as much as I thought they might if I used a little bit of something else. Didn't really work out as planned. I'm going to try it a different way later. You know, hopefully it'll be less explodey. Not be too bad.
Hmm.
So
Well, if we could start with the healing, that would probably be the most useful.
yeah, I could do that.
But you said the smoke would be easy.
Yeah, it doesn't take that much if you have the right ingredients and a little bit of the right equipment. That one's pretty quick. The solve will take a little bit longer, but we could start on it because it'll have to sit for a little bit, and then we could do that in the middle and do the ending of it for sure. You also said you wanted something to hurt people.
Yes, I've heard. Well, I've seen on the battlefield
I'm assuming.
vials you could throw, and it would light something on fire.
Oh, okay. I was thinking you were talking about more poison stuff, which I don't generally like to teach because that'll
that
get
is
me in
not-
trouble. I
No.
guess setting people on fire would probably get me in trouble too. It's probably fine. You're talking about, what do they call those? Some people call them fire bombs, I think. Or some kind of drink, I don't know. But sure, yeah, it's pretty basic. Do you want something that will just dump a bunch of oil on someone? Because you can just buy oil. I'm assuming you want something that will light as soon as it pops.
The thing that I saw, yes, it it burned one of my friends alive, but it exploded on contact. Yes.
It's a little harsh, but sure. I mean, that is what they're designed to do, I guess. So, I could teach that to you. Sure. It's not too hard. You just kind of have to make sure you have the right things. Let's have
How often do you teach these classes?
once a month. Again, but only usually a couple of months in the year people actually will come to it. I mean, I would be fine with teaching it more if more people wanted to do it, but not really the case.
And you just do this as a civil service? Or?
Yeah, it's just a lot of services and shops and everything work under apprenticeships. Finding someone who really wants to do your craft, you teach them a lot of their things, and either they can go start their own shop or they can take over yours eventually. At my shop, you know, I live a long time. I can have mine open for a while, but I've never had an apprentice yet. I'm kind of just on the look. Just see who's interested, and this is kind of the easier way to do it. And, you know, most people around here can't afford equipment like this. So if they're interested enough, maybe they can make some oil that helps their crops or their garden, or anything that could help their skin for some ladies, or well, even men too, depending on how up in themselves they are. Either way, you know, some people don't realize the things they could make with these kids sort of things, and more people become interested in it. But again, most people go, I don't need that kind of stuff, because they just assume you sell healing potions and strength potions and things like that. They don't realize all the other things you can do with it.
That's funny because we only asked for the healing potions and the strength.
Yeah, but you're still interested. Most people aren't even interested in that, to be honest.
Have you tried advertising?
A little bit. But you know, there's just I guess what you would call a stigma to it. Just that, you know, most people just assume you're one thing when you're not really. There's a lot more you can do, and even though if you advertise it, people are just like, oh, you know, I don't need that, or they even, you know, they even say you're selling a false product. They're like, oh, my skin didn't get clear within one day. He's a liar. And you know, then you find out they didn't apply it right, but then who cares? Everyone already thinks you're a liar and thinks you're selling them fake products. And then you get in this whole thing. It's fine. I sell enough to get by. It's just, might as well let people try. See if anyone's interested. But we can have this talk while we're going through the rest of this. And so he starts going this through kind of the instruction process. Let's have everyone who's involved. I'll even make Elfla do it. I know he's quiet, but he'll be there. Why not? Everyone make intelligence checks. Or I'll allow what else would I would allow either Arcana, or I guess I'll allow nature or medicine as well. Any of those would be fine as well. So you can either do intelligence or one of those. You're better at one of those. Okay. So going through this process, this is just kind of more how much you're able to absorb and how easily you're able to handle these instruments. He actually instructs decently well. So you guys, most of you are able to pick up on this so much. Artists, you're used to delicate implements and stuff like that, but the chemical processes that he kind of slightly describes, even in simple terms, are harder for you to discern what amounts he's talking about and using and stuff like that. So you kind of have to start over a few times and don't get as far, we'll say.
Because I'm distracted taking notes.
Yeah, you could be. It's however you want to do it, but you don't get as far in the process, and don't gain as much. But Gudbrand, you definitely pay attention, and a lot of the stuff he is using, you've recognized either out on the field for like you've met like different other magic users who use some of these things in part of their spells and things like that, and you kind of understand most of the process of it. It is a process and it does look like it takes some tools, but if you had the right equipment and the right material, you could probably replicate this. What you're left with at the end is basically a vial of oil that could also be drinking. It doesn't really matter. That it basically has two uses where it will heal. It will heal basically a D4 plus, let's say 2. It's not as good as a healing potion, but it's something at least. For like a quick hour of work with whatever you got, doing that. All of you kind of help in this process as well. And upon kind of getting to a point where certain things are kind of being fermented and stuff like that, you're kind of taken a little bit more aside, and he kind of gives you like this kind of glass jar that's more circular, and he kind of puts a little bit of powder on the inside, and then he takes another small vial and kind of puts it inside as well and fills it with liquid and then corks the whole thing. And he kind of explains that once you throw it and it shatters, once these two mix, it just creates a whole bunch of smoke. Very simple process. And he even shows you how to make the powder, because it is a couple things mixed together. So you feel like if you had a couple vials and the right ingredients, you could probably make these easier than even the healing stuff. So he gives you basically one smoke bomb. And I'll say through the process, you also make one of those healing potions as well, or the healing salve kind of stuff.
The healing potion, how much would it cost to make one of those, and how much time would it take? And what equipment would I need?
You would definitely need alchemist supplies.
Okay.
For definitely for the healing potion. For the smoke bomb, you could probably make that just with a couple vials. I think it depends on where you get it. You could obviously find it for free. The different materials, it'd be probably hard to. Buying it, I think it just depends on the vendor. I would say your guess would be maybe like 10 to 20 gold pieces, depending on how much you bought. It could lower the price if you bought a lot, but I mean, it's cheaper than a normal healing potion, but it obviously doesn't heal that much.
Yeah.
Um,
And
so-
how long does it take to craft?
It took a little more than an hour with him instructing you how to do it, and you did go pretty quick on it. You would, assuming that you eventually got better at it, between 45 minutes and an hour probably, and you could probably actually make multiple doses in that to an extent.
Okay. So, like, I just put down that I learned the lesser healing potion. It heals 1d4, requires alchemist supplies, various items, and 1 hour to craft.
Yeah.
Sound about right? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, just keep that in mind, and I'll write it down here in a second just to make sure I have a
I just put it in my log.
correct
I
item
just don't
sheet.
wanna-
No, yeah. I'm just letting you know I'll have a kind of item for it later once I get it all written down.
Okay.
And then Efla kind of is the one working on this, but Goodbrand, you kind of help near the end. The firebomb that you had mentioned, it's a very similar process to the smoke bomb, where there is a liquid inside a vial, but this one has to be more careful. And the mixture there's a mixture that goes into the top vial that you have to make, that specifically mixes and lights all at once, once the entire thing is smashed apart. And it has to be very delicate because both vials are very easily breakable. So when you do throw it, it definitely will shatter. So it takes a good bit of time as you guys are doing the healing potion stuff. But you make one of those, and you realize that if you did have the alchemist supplies in that as well, you could probably recreate it. I mean, again, these are all things that you've learned to do, but it will still like be a process of doing it, and you could still mess it up and still like all those kinds of things. But you can now kind of know how to do, or pretty much know how to do that, especially with Ethel's help, we'll say. And I will write later how exactly, what that does and everything like that.
Cool.
Make sure you have it.
Awesome.
But yeah, after about an hour and a half, the full kind of like seminar thing has gone on. You've learned a good amount. You do realize that most of the stuff you did, you would have to have the tools to be able to do.
Do you sell any traveling kits that we might be able to use on the road?
You know what? This is the first time someone's actually thought about buying one of these kits. Yeah, I'd have to get it together, but I could surely get
How
one
much
for you.
would you charge for that?
I'm double checking how much it is, because I don't remember. He goes, since this is the first time I've ever sold one of these, I'll give you a little bit of a discount, and you'll listen really well. It'll just be 40 gold pieces for that.
Okay, I will take it. Could we also maybe buy some of your healing potions?
If you're interested, yeah, I could sell you some.
Yes. How much for the regular healing potion?
I mean, I'll say if you're buying the alchemist supplies with it, I'll sell you each one for 40, which is a good discount for these kinds of
So,
things.
$80 for 80 gold for the alchemist kit and 1 potion.
Mm-hmm.
If I bought another potion,
I'll let it be 40 again.
okay. 120. Okay. I will take the 2 and the alchemist kit.
All right, I'll get that for you. Got to give me a few minutes. I gotta box up the supplies and everything like that. And you can go ahead and grab the potions. It's he points over to kind of near the counter. There's like a rack of these smaller vials. Most of them are kind of more empty, but there's what looks like 4 kind of a little bit red glowing ones on the side. And he goes, those are healing potions right there. You just take 2 of those 4 right there. I'll go ahead and go grab the other things. And
But also like 1 healing potion.
sure. And he'll give it to you for the same price.
Great. Great.
Yeah, when you spend an hour at a person's shop, like actually doing something, he actually likes that. So good,
I'll
Brand. I
grab
put
a
2 potions of healing in
as well.
yours.
Oh, you already did it. Cool.
The regular. I haven't done the healing or the smaller one that you've made.
Well, I need to. How do I remove something? Because I started putting that in. Oh, yeah. See,
Just change that to 1 because I need to add the one you made in there eventually. So just leave that in there.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh, why did it move? There, I fixed it.
I'll do the same.
Yeah, I buy a healing potion as well.
You're buying 1 as well? Okay, so you can mark off 40 as well. So that's all the ones that are on the wall of the lesser
I peeked
ones.
my head out. Walrus, did you want to buy any healing potions while we are here? He has several. You are muted. So you need to take the rag off of your face.
Forgot.
He was,
I threw
he was
that on.
sleeping. You finally you realize after saying stuff that he's sleeping, and you kick him awake, and he's like,
No,
Walrus,
what?
do you want to buy any healing potions while we're here? Or any potions of any kind? Now is the time we are purchasing.
Hold on. Okay, what's happening? What are we buying?
Potions for things like
Potions,
healing.
right? Potions. Okay, let's go buy the potions inside, I'm guessing.
Yes.
I'm gonna stand up and head on
Oh,
inside.
I took it out. Dang it.
okay. He kind of, so he doesn't have any more regular at the moment. He says if you give him the day, he could make another couple. Like if you come tomorrow night, he could have a couple ready. He does have he does have 2 of the greater if you wanted to purchase that instead.
What's your greater healing potions?
Those would be a lot more expensive, I
Yeah.
assume.
They would be. He'll still give you a decent discount. He'll sell them to you for 200.
I don't have 200.
Well, I'm just I mean that's a
No.
decent
Oh.
discount. So
No, it is.
Pool our money together and buy more.
Well, hold on. I got
But
a
again,
better.
I do have
I got a better idea.
healing that I can do daily. So
I got an idea. Okay. Potion, dude. I don't know who you are.
yeah, and he's in the back. You haven't even seen him yet, but he's yelling through the door at you guys.
I'm going to yell in return back at him if he has anything to make me bigger and or stronger.
He kind of peeks his head out the door, and you see the elven gentleman with the longer, dark black hair, and he just like looks at him up and down and goes, "You sure? You're pretty big and strong now."
I know, but bigger is bigger.
And he kind of goes and he goes, "Yeah. Let me make sure I actually pull up this one, because he actually does have that."
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he goes, "Yeah, it's on the wall over there. Look for, it's one called Growth. It should say Potion of Growth on the label. It's a little higher up. You should be able to easily reach it. That one is a tiny bit more than that. It's I'll still give you guys the discount, but so it'll be 300 for that one."
Yeah, never mind.
I could.
What can I get for like 100 gold? You have anything that's like helpful for that? That's not like Keely?
Well, define helpful.
Helping.
Great. It's a good
Preparation H is just over there.
I think we will be fine. But
Okay.
if
I'm
I
gonna
mean,
come back.
again,
I'm gonna get that.
I'm
gonna grow.
I have my own help from the gods,
I'm
but
gonna grow.
if
we all were thinking maybe the greater healing potion, since I could throw 50 more gold at that, and we could buy it as a group.
Well, I
So
mean,
you
we could
see
do
him
that.
come back around with what looks like a it's almost like a suitcase bag, kind of leather bound and everything like that. And he kind of opens it up, and you can see the different tools and stuff. And he's like, depending on where you're at, you might need a table, depending on how elaborate the setup you want is. It's a little harder to do it like on the ground, but this is everything you should need for that kind of stuff. If you're going for anything like too intense, though, you might need like a full set, like kind of one I had in the back or anything like that. And if anything you said like 100, there's so over there. He points at another wreck. He's like, I've got potions of climbing. Makes it climb really well. Obviously, that's why they're called potions of climbing. Those are 50 gold pieces each. And then he kind of points over to a rack of like these multicolored vials that kind of go really long. He's like, those are potions of resistances. Each color makes it resist a different thing, so they only work for one thing. They're 100 gold pieces each, so that's 100, like you said. So like,
Don't mix them together.
do not mix them together. I'm trying to do that. It's not working right now. So like the green's acid, that kind of bluish whitish color is cold. Fire, lightning, poison is like the darker green.
Do you add the coloring to it to make it match the type, or does that just happen naturally?
It happens mostly naturally. You still got to add a little bit just so you don't confuse them. But it mostly happens naturally. You kind of have to add a little bit of nuance to it because, people like pull up a potion and it's like, you have to differentiate the poison versus the acid, and you kind of have to make sure that they're different colors because they turn out to be fairly close and people get confused a lot of the time.
It's
So that
very
one.
thoughtful.
Oh yeah, it's common use of the trade at this point. And the only other things I would have that would be for about 100. That's an animal friendship potion. It's about 125. It makes animals really like you for a little while. And that's about it for that low.
Okay. I'll save I'll save what little money I have, and eventually buy whatever makes me bigger.
So how many healing potions total did we end up with? I got 2.
4.
Okay,
Artist bought 1 and Olive bought 1.
gotcha.
Since you do seem to like to experiment, are there any particular ingredients that you might need that perhaps you would need a group of adventurers to procure?
Huh. I never thought of that. You know what? Give me a moment. He goes to the back for about 2 minutes. And he goes,
He's gonna come back and ask us for something crazy.
Dragon's heart. We can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Go kill that white dragon and
I actually almost thought about a dragon piece, but that's not what it would be. I actually have an idea. Or a thing. So he kind of comes back around and he goes, now, don't go after this, but let's say you happen to come across it. I will pay you for it. There is a very rare flower that grows along the Sudden Mountain Range, fairly high up, in a place that there should be no flowers. There's flowers that grow, and apparently they grow only one at a time. And they're apparently very, very potent. And I've been in the market for one, and they're really hard to get. But I would be able to. I would pay top gold for that.
Whoa! What do they do?
Is it because the terrain is dangerous, or are there other obstacles?
There are many obstacles. There's the coldness. There's apparently been people going missing down there. And it's just very hard to find, apparently. I mean, it's not like there's a field of them and you can go pick a bunch of them. They apparently only grow like one at a time, or like alone. They grow alone. So really you only find a couple of them even if you make a journey up there, if any. So they're very, very hard to find, and a lot of magic users like to use them in different kinds of spells, things like that, and
Direction is
enchantments.
this mountain range?
The southern mountain range.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, are you guys planning on going there? If you are, great. Try to find one. I wouldn't make a specific trip just for it, but if you're there, I mean, you asked, I might as well tell you. Because there
we
is
may
a
have-
very small chance that you could do it. So,
No, we may have a job out that way, so it is something on our
Well,
to-do.
don't risk your lives for it, but if you see a strange flower growing at the top, near the top of a mountain, get it. It's like a whitish blue that's like kind of mostly closed.
Would
It's
it still work like pressed between a book to keep it safe, or does it need to be?
yeah, no, it's once you it will be safe. Once you pick it, it freezes entirely.
Oh.
So it's almost like it gets petrified, is the best way I could describe it. So you won't have to worry about, other than like smashing against a rock and shattering it, which apparently they're fairly tough. You won't have to worry about necessarily it wilting or anything like that. Or even really breaking it unless, again, you're really trying to. So, not too bad.
Okay. We'll keep an eye out when we're in that area.
Sure. I mean, that'd be great if you could get it. But again, don't go out of your way or risk your lives or anything unless you're really wanted to. It's not that important. It's more of like a thing I would really like, though. But
It's
hey,
a dream of yours, Lewis.
hey, if you don't shoot your shot, what are you gonna get? You don't make a class to hope for apprentice. You're not gonna get one. You don't ask a group of adventurers for a rare flower. You might not get it.
Well, we appreciate your time. This was informative.
So why wouldn't we make a trip for it, especially?
It's just
Because
hard to
it's
get and
dangerous and
slightly
not worth the
dangerous.
Oh. That's a bad reason.
I mean, I'm not the person to risk my life constantly other than experimenting.
That's fair. See, that's a better reason.
I'm just telling you. I'm not going to say, "Hey, you definitely have to get this from me or else I'm not going to sell to you anymore."
Oh, okay.
It's
well,
more
that's-
like
that's-
you
that's
asked,
fair.
"Do you need something?" And I was like, "Might as well tell them this." And if they get
That's
it,
fair.
great. If they don't, oh well.
That's fair. That's fair.
We appreciate your time.
No, of course. Well, it's really late. I should probably eat at some point. I'm gonna go eat.
We are going to go as well. Thank you.
All right. Well, if you need anything else, I'm gonna be right here unless something terrible happens.
Okay.
You're still not the jokester I get. Says that as you guys are
Back
walking
to
in.
the inn, and if we're done here, we gotta have dinner ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay. So, kind of heading back. You kind of have to go down one more layer back again to the same layer as the melting pot. But kind of arriving and kind of getting a small dinner, or large. It's large for some people, small for others. And kind of taking the time to eat. It's decently lively in the tavern, not anything crazy, but there are a fair amount of people and they seem to be having fun, hanging out. drinking a bit, and you guys can drink and eat as much as you would like before resting. Is there anything you guys would like to do just over the course of before taking a rest or anything like that?
Well, everyone, something I was thinking about, especially with the sewers, if we could get permission and we do a good job, potentially that will open the opportunity to get access to other levels as well that we could get into on an official capacity. So it's not a job that'll put us in the limelight or particularly get someone's attention, but it will allow us to get around and keep an eye on things.
Well, another thing that I was thinking, and kind of the main purpose, I didn't want to say it in front of others, but I have known many. When we had trouble with thieves' guilds back in my home, uh, the sewers were a network that they used. And if we have official permission to be down there, and an excuse and a writ, then it would seem a little less suspicious for us to go poking our noses around.
Oh yes, and potentially we could discover a secret entrance or something.
Exactly. Learn what we can, and maybe get paid while we do it. I see no problem with that as well. I just spent a lot of gold.
Oh, for the alchemy kit, I'd like to chip in a quarter of the cost. Since we'll all probably be using it, we need to, I'll pay my share.
Okay.
So if you're doing that, artists remove 10 gold and Goodbrand gain 10
Yes.
gold.
Yeah.
That. Okay. Is that all the conversation you want to have tonight? Or wanted to make sure.
Princess, we could have just gone raiding. That I'm used to. That makes more sense to me. Why
does
is this
to me
what you
too.
chose?
Well, I felt the need to know the lands a little better and meet the people in their own capacity, not necessarily when they are threatened. A good leader knows people within and far away from their land, just in case.
I can't remember. I know we talked about this, but aren't you not next in line for
No, I believe I
your
am.
brother
next
is,
in
right?
line.
I thought your
No,
brother
I think
was.
he's younger than me, correct?
But wouldn't it still be him? Because it's always the first male.
It
It's-
depends in North, because Norse, the women are very highly regarded.
It's been a series of debates in the family. I will say, is it one? It is the idea that Olive is the next, but there have been debates, and I will say it is not necessarily 100%. And even Goodbrand, I would say, is a little bit not fully on Olive's side technically, because again, it is a little traditional that more the male side will do it, but there have been, plenty of strong female queens, and things like that. Even there's an example of one across the water of the other continent has an extremely a very strong female leader at the moment. So it's not like he's opposed to it, but it's kind of the thing of like, you've seen them both grow up and you're still not sure exactly who you feel like should lead, but you're kind of going with Olive at the moment, to try to even propel her, if she is the next in line, propel her up and make sure she's the best that she could be. Kind of how I see it at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, me as a not my character, I always kind of saw it as she's just really going to learn about anything and everything she can because she wants to be the best leader possible, and this is kind of something that her brother necessarily isn't doing. So she's going out to try and one up her brother.
Yeah,
Is that something that she would admit?
Oh God, no. She would not admit that.
But you have, I would say you have grown up, you have seen her grown up, and you have a good enough insight that you kind of know that.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely know that.
You've just never been confirmed. but including what Goodbrand kind of knows and just some of the history that has been there, you kind of have a reason why you're still, like, it's kind of a weird, the secession is weird, and you know that, and it's kind of just not something that is really talked about, but in general,
is her brother a good warrior?
Worldly knowledge, yes.
Like really good, or
pretty good.
Yeah.
Would you say the best in the
I take
land?
him.
Probably not, but you know, he's definitely one of the best. He's definitely
he's
still
young, so.
Yeah, he's still got more to go. He's still young. But it's more of it like, to the world, Olive is next. To kind of the very close-knit family, even Olive slightly knows this, it's still kind of more of a discussed topic. But it's kind of more of the backside of that stuff. But yes.
When your brother comes of age, he will probably go raiding.
That is his choice. We are not the same person.
Yes, I understand this, but it is tradition.
Sometimes tradition needs to be changed.
I have thought the same thing many times during my period in your father's court, and I will tell you that you will not change things easily.
Yes, unfortunately,
Yeah.
they are stuck in their ways. However, maybe they will see that I have gone and done something different, and hopefully bring honor back in some way, or at least more information to help out.
And to clarify, Halvor, which is your brother, is 4 years younger than you, so he had just turned 16, not that long ago. He has been trained for he's been being trained for a long time, and he's fairly good for his age. But he's still pretty young, but he's close to start going out and doing things, kind of like how you have recently been doing that.
Well, we will need to do something very big to impress them. I just hope we find what you're looking for out here. Your brother can be selfish at times, and that worries me.
Worries me as well. I don't think he will be a bad leader. I'm just not sure if he is what we need.
The nobles love him. He's strong and will get stronger. I would hate to see problems arise from this.
If they do arise, I will meet them head on. the people may love my brother, but they also,
They also
the
love
younger
you.
ones tend to like me. The older ones like my brother because he is traditional. He is following the footsteps of all of the old traditions. Father knows the type of person I am, and he encouraged me to go. I see that as a good thing.
You have not chosen the easier path.
I wouldn't want the easy path.
That is fair. That has always been your way.
I feel it would make me a better leader to not have things handed to me, to not be coddled. I have never been coddled.
No, that is true. Well, that is all I have to say for now. Thank you for listening.
Of course, I will keep that in mind. I do value your wisdom sometimes.
Sometimes.
I just smirk and turn away.
Yeah, I got up. I was getting up and walking away
As-
at that point too.
As you turn, as Goodbrand starts walking away, you turn and you see Walrus, who is talking with Ethla at the moment, and they're both using one of the melting pots that they have ordered with cheese, and they're debating, and they're debating on which kind of cheese must have been in the sewer. And they're like, it doesn't seem like it's this, like it doesn't seem like it's this kind of cheddary. It was like more gooey than this one.
It's like, you
As
know,
I
they
walk by,
added
it was
two
more like a
cheeses.
Gruyere, and then I go up to my room.
See, he's probably right.
I don't know. It didn't smell like nothing. Although the sewer smelled bad.
I
so
mean,
that
it
might-
didn't.
was that.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't smell like cheese, but
No. What if it was like a bunch of cheeses mixed together? That would make more sense.
true.
All right, get like a melty one, and then like one for color, and then maybe like a smoked one for like smokiness, and then like one with like peppery so it bites because it was aggressive.
I'll be honest. I don't know as much about cheese as you do.
I know a lot about cheese.
I'm gonna walk up to them and I'm just gonna take a little bit of both and mix it.
You just can't go mixing cheeses willy nilly.
And then I shove it in Walrus's mouth.
Ah, it's happiness.
Oh, Tom. Ethel's like, and he takes a little bit and he shoves it in his mouth as well. And he's like, I'm glad this isn't the sewer cheese.
No. I feel like that would give us some really bad indigestion or maybe powers we do not want.
I want powers. I want more powers.
More powers would have been great.
Cheese powers. I want cheese powers.
I'm so happy that Austin saw that thing first and I was able to describe it as cheese, because I wouldn't have described it as anything else if it was anybody else seeing it. But Austin saw it, so I was like, it looks like cheese, because that was the best thing for him, and now it's the thing.
Oh yeah.
Either way, so that kind
Also,
of
fair warning to the party. She's now mentioned that eating it could give him powers. He might try to eat that next one. If we
oh
find
yeah,
one.
if I'm never gonna bring another one into place, because I'm not gonna have it. I'm not gonna have a death of someone eating a fucking jelly. No.
I'm still shocked that you didn't eat it when it was there.
Well, at the time, he didn't consider it might give him cheese powers.
Yeah.
But now
It was more that he had punched it and it had burned, and so he was like, I should just kill it and not
it
eat
hurt me. I got mad. But now the potential for cheese-based
Cheese
powers overrides the desire to
The
punch.
funny thing is, I would. No, we're not. We're never gonna get to it. I would be like, I would let him roll like a D100, and on a 100, I would give him cheese powers, and on a 1 to 99, he would die. It would be like something like that, and he would roll the 100. I know it. There'd be no
Cheese
way.
man.
There'd
Like
be no
Spider-Man,
way.
but
I would
cheese.
give the opportunity.
That was
and it would
my
happen.
exact thought. I almost said that. I was like, wait, it's not in this world.
No, we're not ready yet.
You can just make an axe out of cheese.
Either way, as the crazy cheese conversation continues and the eating of cheese happens, and the tiredness and drinking comes throughout the whole group, I will say at that point you all decide to go rest. So I will hit the button right here for long rest. So it is done on that send. So as the morning kind of comes pretty quickly, a couple sore muscles from dealing with the sewer system fights, but nothing too bad. Luckily enough. Really, Walrus is the only one who's just a little bit sore, still recovering all his hit dice. But kind of coming down and getting some food and everything like that, you pretty much have the day. You do have the meeting in the later afternoon, but before that, you really have the day to do what you like. You can look around the city, find more stuff.
Isn't monster anatomy course this morning before the meeting?
Did I say it was? Yeah. No, I said it was this morning, didn't I?
And I'm going to that
Did I say it was a morning or at night, though? I don't remember what I
morning.
said. I did
You
say
said
morning.
early
All
morning.
right, that's fine. I'll assume that was that. Does anyone else want to go to the monster anatomy lesson?
I mean, I might as well.
Yeah.
Walrus hears the word anatomy and lesson and decides to not do anything about it.
All right. Let's see if it. Let me see. Yeah, Ethel will go. I didn't. So, Ethel will go. Why not? He always likes a good story. So kind of.
We really want to leave the walrus alone.
I mean, I'm just
Maybe
gonna
we
wander
just
around and see what I
pay-
can find.
To bring him food. He will stay for a little bit.
Hmm.
I mean, she's not wrong.
All right.
I mean, he's also a grown man. I mean, he's not a very smart grown man, but he's a grown man. Pretty sure he can take care of himself.
That's true.
It is
I can.
true. He has survived without us for some time.
I'll be fine. Go do your anatomy of whatever the hell it is.
Monsters.
That.
You know, the things we kill. We can
Right,
kill
yes.
them better.
Yeah, if we know what's inside them, we can kill them better. That makes total sense.
Yep,
Definitely.
stab here for death.
Yeah, I mean, just stab 'em anywhere and eventually it'll die. But, go learn about how to learn about, how they internal.
Okay.
Will do.
So it takes a little bit to figure out. You got the information yesterday, and I didn't exactly give it to you word for word, but you realize that it's at one of the other offices that is in the city. So you do have to take you have to go across to the other side of the city because it is on that side. So you have to take one of the lifts that actually go across. So kind of finding one of those and going across that way. And kind of this is the first time you've ever done this. You can see how large this canyon is by going across it. You see layers above you on both sides. You see layers all the way going almost all the way to the bottom of both sides. There are a lot of buildings and a lot of people here, depending on how deep each one of these go. And so they look like they vary. Some you can see buildings that go all the way down, and you can see lights coming from really far down. Some the layers you could only see that looks like they stop at a certain point a little bit closer. But you kind of go across and then take another lift a couple layers down until you find what kind of looks like a slightly larger office building with what looks like a few chambers and things like that inside. And kind of going in and getting a few directions, you realize that there's basically kind of what is slightly a large classroom setting kind of in the back that this is taking place. And you kind of go in and there seems to be different chairs and things set around. And as you walk in, you do see a figure at the front and a couple other people sitting in the room of different races and things like that. But the figure in the front, who's seemingly the teacher of this, looks to be wearing some very nice robes and everything like that, is a tabaxi, pure white in color with black irises, kind of just standing up at the front. Their tail seems to be a striped black and white as it's kind of moving a little bit side to side. Where their ears are, they do seem to have what looks like some kind of old scars, maybe. Would look like maybe like a burn mark or something on kind of the slight edges of it. But as you guys kind of walk in, he's like, "Oh, more people. Well, why don't you have a seat? We're about to actually get started." I'm just pulling out a few things, and there are more people here than we usually get, which is very fun. Kind of takes a few things out and kind of looks around, and he goes, "So I see a few familiar faces, but I definitely see a few newer people. It's just all you people over here, and it's always interesting to see new faces about. So now we're going to go over the anatomy of different kinds of amalgamation of creatures and how its strange mixture of different creatures kind of come to be. I'm not going to actually go through it, but how about everyone either make an intelligence check
Good
or
Brand raises his hand like he's some kid in school.
Okay. First, make an intelligence check or a nature check. I'll allow you to be either one. Everyone who's taking the class will do this.
It's the same for me.
Yeah. You just might have it better. Ooh, not the best rolls.
Concentrating on notes again.
Yeah, not the best rolls. Were you asking a specific question when you raised your hand?
Yeah.
Okay. What would you know, or what was that question?
I don't know if this is what you planned on teaching today, but what do you know about ooze and slime and jelly creatures?
I do know a fair bit. Give me till the end, and I will go over that a little bit. And he kind of continues through the rest of it, and you guys don't retain much of the information. He kind of is more going into the strange oddities of like owl bears and other strange creatures that seem to be almost a mixture of two or more, and even some of them are categorized more as monstrosities and things like that, and how their anatomies seemingly work in tandem in a strange way. It's mostly boring and not interesting, and honestly, pretty much everyone, no one really is going to retain this information past today, because it's not anything interesting. But after about 50 minutes of that, he kind of goes, "Oh, then that's mostly the end for today, but I'll go ahead and go over just a few things about oozes and other things like that for the
Really,
interested parties."
Just had a specific question.
Sure. What's your specific question?
Can little tiny oozes grow into really little tiny jelly monster grow into a very big jelly monster?
I mean, there are some oozes that have that ability to be able to grow in size or even split off from another and become separate entities and then grow themselves eventually. It more depends on the type you're describing. Do you have any more descriptive of what you're...
The little ones, well, they are all almost completely see-through. And the big one was maybe big as 3-4 men, but like clear square that filled up.
You're talking about gelatinous cubes. That makes sense. Oh, okay. Gelatinous cubes don't really have that ability, to my knowledge.
What would cause one to go from very small to very large?
Some various magics could do that. Just as though, how we can grow and shrink ourselves as well, or other people with magics. You could do the similar thing with that.
So this does not happen naturally.
Not with those kind. If you were talking about something like a pudding or even a jelly, that's a possibility that they could grow large enough to split and or become that large. But normal gelatinous cubes are about the size of what you said, 3 men. The smaller ones you're talking about are generally, how do I describe this? Created, by more powerful magic users for usually specific purposes. Usually for cleaning a lot of the time. You know, they're just small enough to kind of go around and clean various things, because they leave everything, they take everything with them. You know, or they're generally they're even used as creating for different kinds of enchantments and potions. Their goo can be used for those sorts of things. That's generally what the smaller ones are made for, but I've never heard of one changing. It's odd, I would say, if you encountered that.
What would cause a very large one to show up in a mundane place?
In a mundane place.
Where it was not before.
I mean, someone would have probably had to place it. They generally don't just come out of the woodwork, I would say. I mean, I don't know its habits necessarily, but either something happened to it, like you said, if a small one was around and was able to somehow change by some magical means, that could have happened, or someone maybe had placed one. They're generally created.
And a creature with the consistency and look of melted cheese that attacks. Comes out of cracks and.
Yeah, that is a jelly.
And is that something that you would normally just find places?
They can get into some places. They mostly like to hang around in damp areas, to my knowledge. Dark, damp areas. And they can squeeze into the tiniest cracks, so they can get pretty much anywhere.
And if one of the jellies and one of the cubes just happened to show up around the same time in basically the same place, would that be abnormal?
I would say it's abnormal. It could be a coincidence that they would be nearby. I would say it's abnormal. Either similar magics created both of them, or...
What are you doing after this meeting?
I mean, I do have work to do. I have a few other things, but I guess it sounds interesting enough. You could...
Around 2 o'clock.
I don't think I have anything around that time. And he kind of takes a moment to look at a small book that he has carrying around with him, and he kind of looks at you like, no, I don't have anything around that time.
Then can I speak with you after the class in private, please?
Sure. I don't see why not. Either way. Well, assuming anyone else doesn't have any other questions about strange creatures or anything like that, that's pretty much the end. I hope you enjoyed your time learning about these things, and obviously we will be back next month with a different topic once I figure out what that is. And you see a few people, like the few people that are here, kind of start to get up and kind of walk off, and a couple of them seem to talk to each other maybe they're here multiple times. A few of them look like inspiring magic users at some point. People that eventually, or people who seem to be learning magics and things like that. But he is available at the moment. I don't know if you mean private as just one-on-one or private with just the group.
I just didn't want to talk about, dangerous things in the sewers in front of an entire class.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's
don't want
not
to cause a panic.
like other than you four, there was only about 6 other people in the room.
Yeah.
not including him. I know. I'm just letting you
Still
know it's not a
seems-
huge place, but yeah, as soon as they all leave, which only takes a couple minutes, and as he's finishing kind of gathering up a few of his equipment and stuff, just kind of getting it ready to go, he kind of looks at your group and he's like, "You all seem to come together. I don't know if you wanted it to be extremely private or."
Oh, these people are fine, yes. I just didn't want to alarm your other students.
No, it sounds like you were dealing with some sort of dangerous entity, assuming one of these cubes and one of these jellies.
They were in your sewers and they killed several people. There are lots of little ones, and like you
Well,
said,
the little
it
ones are
seems that they're
there.
there to keep it clean, but there was
Well, yes,
people
I know.
who-
I put them there.
Well, there was a very large one. Can I insight check him?
You can certainly insight check him. Is there something specifically you're trying? Are you just trying to determine
Like, okay,
whether he
so-
knows or something? Or
Yeah, like, I'm now worried that this guy is the guy who did this. And I just want to see, like, when
well,
I'm
I
bringing
will
this
say,
up, like, what...
but even without the insight check, what he did mean is when you say there was a bunch of little ones, that is what he meant. He didn't mean he put any large one. I'm just letting you know.
What I'm
you can still roll the
specifically
insight
what I'm
check.
telling him about, like, the large one that was there.
No, roll the
like,
insight
I'm
check.
No.
I mean, he doesn't seem to be lying anyway.
I even have a +6.
I know he does seem to be surprised, like
Yeah, okay.
to the whole group when you mention that, and he's kind of now putting the pieces together that what you were mentioning happened here and in the sewers. He's taking a moment and he does look surprised. He goes, I don't know why that would be the case that those would be in our sewers. I mean, the jelly, those get around. Like that, it could have been summoned or even somehow created somewhere else and just swarmed its way here. The cube, however, is a little bit more unlikely, which is a little
I was
worrying.
Hoping we have a meeting with your town's steward later today. And,
Oh, you're meeting with Alanis.
Yes, and I was thinking that it might be helpful if you came along, since you know more about these creatures than any of us.
Yeah, I could meet with Alanis and your group, assuming you know a fair bit of what's going on. Sure. Again, I don't have anything, like I said, right away. I could definitely do that. I wonder what could have caused. Either would it have had to been an entirely new entity, or like you described, one of the smaller cubes somehow grew, but that seems unlikely to happen naturally. Very unlikely to happen naturally.
Well, that is probably better. If it happened naturally, it would be hard to stop.
Well, yeah, that's why I felt safe enough to put a fair bit of them in our sewer system for that exact reason.
I might have destroyed a few of them. Do they reproduce?
No, but there's a way that we are able to put in more. It will take some time, but it won't cause too much of an issue.
It was probably a couple hundred of them.
It'll take some time.
But
Won't be that bad.
the big one tried to kill us, so we were not very...
It's understandable. It's It will make the sewers a little dirtier for a little while, but other than that, it will be fine.
You took that well. Thank you.
It's fine. They're very small. They're very easy. Workers step on them a lot on accident. They get washed away a lot of the time. We have a system of finding out about how many there are and making sure there is a good amount. So we will find out about how many there are eventually and be able to produce more.
I
So
would be very curious to know our kill count if you can provide that information.
sure, I will see if I can tell you how many you killed. And know how much work you have given me.
Anyway.
He kind of gives a little smirk. He's being a little sarcastic.
Yeah.
He's not like too frustrated or anything. It's just he thinks it's kind of funny, to be honest. But as unless you have any questions for him specifically, it is decently close to the meeting time. Still got a little bit of time, but it is decently close. You could just get over there and wait a bit, or you can have more. You can talk more if you need to, or try to squeeze something before. To you guys.
If it's that close to time, maybe he'll come with us. We can continue talking on the walk.
You can do that if you want. Up to you guys.
How long were they at this seminar?
So far, if how long? Let me just ask, how long would you have waited? Or are you
Like 45 minutes.
Are you planning to go to this meeting? Also, do you know?
I wasn't. Well, my plan was I was gonna wait I don't know how long they've been there. My plan was like wait 45 minutes and then go wander around the city.
Okay, so you would have wandered around before they had that conversation. So.
Okay, yeah. He would just go wander around and just see what he could get into.
All right.
Nothing specific.
Okay, nothing specific.
Nothing specific. Just, what happens to him happens, essentially.
All right. Just roll a d20. Just a flat d20. I don't know.
They exit the seminar, city's in fucking flames.
Okay. I just wanted to see what you would roll.
8.
Yeah, 8. Nothing really you find is too interesting. In this area, there are a lot of houses, and they're shaped in different ways than you expect. There are a couple small shops, mostly general stores, food establishments, butcher, a few other things. Nothing that really catches your eye as something extremely interesting, or something that or the walrus would be, mindful of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. He'd do that. And...
Do you want to do that until the meeting and try to meet them there, or?
Yeah, that would be probably the best idea.
Okay, then assuming you do that, as you guys are arriving a little bit before the scheduled time, you see Walrus, and you're going with Snowflake at this point, which you didn't. You already kind of knew his name, but you didn't fully get from him. You kind of. He is tagging along, and you do see the Walrus kind of hanging right outside the building that you guys were at yesterday night. Kind of just waiting, and kind of sees the group kind of come up. And this is the first time, Walrus, you're seeing this Tabaxi. Pure white. He's decently tall. He's shorter than you, but he's taller than the rest of the group, pretty much. But does look, not super buff, I would say. He looks more of the magic type. But as you guys gonna get there, you do have about maybe even if you check in, he's still in his other meeting, so probably be about like 10 or so minutes. So if you want to talk or do anything before that, now's the time.
I think it would be better if
if you spoke to the steward, he is more likely to listen to you.
I can do that. I will try to get him to listen.
Who's the
I mean,
cat?
you can toss some things around,
The
I do
cat. Oh.
I do
Oh, you mean
okay-
him?
Yeah.
I do okay with.
I
more
do have a
common people,
name,
but
I will say.
The
I don't know it.
stewards,
I don't even know who you are.
Okay. Well,
I
I
don't
am.
even know why you're here.
Most people call me Snowflake, for various reasons. I am the
It's
kind
so
of-
great.
for various reasons. Yeah. There's actually a reason, but I won't go into it. It's just kind of funny.
It's drugs.
It's drugs.
Oh yeah, for sure. He peddles that white snow.
I want to give him scrunches. No, we're good. We're good.
Okay, sorry. For various reasons, I'm the prevailing kind of magic liaison for the city, I guess you would call it.
You're a magical legion?
I'm not even going to try to correct you. Basically, if the city needs help with some sort of magical thing or wants something magical done, I make sure it's done or I do it myself, either one. And I was teaching one of my few things that I get to do, and for the people, I guess, I would say. And your fine group here asked a couple strange questions and told me what was going on, and now I'm going to meet with Alanis with you, and we'll discuss what happened.
You're the monster anatomical guy. Got it.
Mhm.
All right. Real quick, monster internal side thing question. All right, so you know those like jelly things, right? They look like cheese.
Yes.
Say, you
Oh,
know,
great. Yeah, go ahead. I'm not stopping you.
questionably. If you were to eat one, would you gain cheese-based powers? Not hearing a no.
You see him look at Walrus for a minute, almost expecting him to like tell him it's a joke, and then he realizes pretty quickly it's not a joke, and he goes, I will be honest, not 100% certain, but you know what? If you get the chance and try it, and you get cheese powers, you can let me know, and I can update my class.
So there's a chance.
There is a chance. Good Brand, you have way more of a good enough insight to know that he is lying. He knows there is no chance, and
there's just the biggest face palm.
yeah.
There's a chance. All right.
He is not.
Wait, what if you ate one of the cubes?
I'd say about 1,000,000 to 1. So you're telling me there's a chance?
No.
What about would I get
from
cube powers?
I'm saying from your passive
Jelly
insight,
powers.
you're looking at Snowflake's face, and there is
Yeah.
no chance. He's saying
Yeah,
he's telling him
absolutely.
there's a chance. There's no chance.
Absolutely. I'm not stopping this.
Yeah, it's like a sure.
Jelly powers. I wonder if that applies to the cubes.
So you,
Probably.
so you get cube
Silently
powers.
shaking my head.
So you get,
exactly.
you get cube powers, so you turn into Minecraft Steve.
Or I just become really sticky.
Well, that would mean you could build houses out of dirt that you make squares in the ground, digging your
True.
Oh,
hands.
homebrew
Chop down
class.
trees with your hands.
Homebrew racing class,
Do that anyways.
Minecraft base.
That would be really cool.
That would be.
The builder, we call it. Okay. Skip all that stuff. As this conversation happens, pretty quickly you see a older man kind of step forward, kind of with a few pieces of paper, and he just goes, "You're here to see Alanis, aren't you? Yeah, you're he's ready for you in his office. I'll take you that way. And he kind of leads you around kind of the desks that are mainly in the main room and down the hallway that you saw the gentleman you were dealing with last night, who is not here at the moment because he's not working, down the hallway until you get to basically what looks like a decent doorway with what looks like a small desk where probably his assistant is working, normally works. And he kind of leads you over there, and the door is actually open, and you kind of walk in, and you see a decently small office. Not anything too large. You do see a couple shelves of what looks like scrolls and books that are kind of set to the side, and a desk that seemingly has a few things spread out, but it seems mostly fairly organized. And you see what looks like a human gentleman, very short hair, just a very simple robe on. Nothing actually too flashy about him at all. With a decently short beard as well, all brown across the whole thing, and he has a darker skin tone for sure. As you guys kind of come in, he kind of looks at you all and he goes, "Oh, Snowflake, you're with... I didn't know you were part of this meeting, but it is nice to see you, I guess." And he kind of looks down and he goes, I wasn't really told what this meeting was actually about. Who are you people and what do you need?"
What do you know about what is going on in your sewers?
I heard I knew there was a job out because there was a couple workers that had apparently gone missing or lost or something. I heard from the foreman, or I got a note from the foreman this morning about it being taken care of, and that we had to give a reward. Is that what you're here for? Normally they just have those at the desks at the front.
Sure, but not why we're here to talk to you.
All right.
Do you know anything about the scrubbers that are down there?
Yeah, and he kind of points over to Snowflake and he kind of goes, "Yeah, he's made those little things and they clean the sewers really well. They haven't generally been a problem yet, I don't think. Why? We're bringing them up for a reason,
They've
obviously.
unionized.
The worst tragedy."
Death to the bourgeoisie.
That could be a way to explain it. We're not sure, but it seems they may be, as he so elegantly put it, unionizing to perhaps evolve, or basically it's not such a good thing down there is happening. Some sort of cheese monster has formed. We took care of it.
Like an STD.
But we are unsure if
It
that's
burns
the
and
end of
itches.
it. Well, it did burn when he punched it.
I know that. So you're kind of describing it, and as you finish up, Snowflake kind of intervenes and goes, "They found what seems like a jelly and one of these scrubbers, a larger version of it, in the sewers. Seemingly that was the reason for the missing incidences. The jelly I'm not too concerned about. It's strange that they were in the same area, but that's something you would expect to find. I would say it is rare, but it is taken care of unless more gets found. But it's something to worry about. It is something to keep aware of, I would say. But the larger cube, which is generally how they normally are formed, that is strange and should not be happening. Either someone has put it there, or something had happened to enlarge one of the smaller ones, which also shouldn't be happening." And you see Alanis kind of look at him at the whole group, and he goes, "That's strange, I'll say, for sure. But you all took care of it, sounds like."
Perhaps we did not go through the entire sewers. We perhaps could go through the entire sewers and map them out better. However, we would need some sort of compensation and many days.
And he kind of looks and he goes, "Well, I guess our sewer maps have been outdated for a long time. And I know, Sunez has been requesting of me constantly in a very rude fashion to get someone down there to map those. And concern of missing workers, and I guess workers getting lost constantly.
I kind of nudge Artis and like, show him the map. This is what we've done so far.
A sampling, if you will.
Kind of looks at it and he goes, "It's definitely very well and definitely functional. Because, you know, it's not the best map in the world. You're not a map maker, but it's way better than what they had."
And this is the map that your guys are using.
No, yeah. He looks at that and he goes, "Sunez, come on." And he just kind of looks off and just goes, "That is something I can look into. I can't promise you right here today, but I don't see a reason why we couldn't do that, and you can make sure there's no more of these entities in the sewer, or maybe even find out maybe what happened, if something did happen."
We could certainly try.
If you did do that, I have to get permission, but I would kind of like Snowflake here to keep an eye on you, not an eye on you, but an eye on the situation, and maybe his insight will help figure out what necessarily happened to birth such a thing. I don't know how you describe it.
That is agreeable with me. He knows more than we would about these creatures. Or beings, or whatever you want to call them.
And Snowflake kind of looks and goes, "Technically either works. I would be fine with doing that. I mean, I am rather busy, but I could at least check in. Assuming you're able to get the permission for this. Have you talked to Britt?" And he kind of looks and goes, "I'm not going to talk to Britt about this. I'll go to Bragan first. And he'll hear that someone has died and pretty much make sure it gets done."
It was like 4 people.
What?
It was like 4 people.
It was many.
I will try my damnedest to make sure it gets done. But there's still a small process that has to get done. I don't have as much authority as I would like. But assume that by the end of the day I will get approval and that you will be able to start accomplishing this. And Sunez would know. So he would be able to let you in on maybe a couple of the other different entrances as well. Which could help. But to my knowledge, how big that is, yes, it would take you multiple days, depending on how long you're depending on spending in there. But yes, we could compensate you for the efforts. I don't know how much it would be.
Yay, sewer mega dungeon.
Just wait. But, you know, I guess depending on the dangers or how well it gets done, there could be additional compensation. And that is known, but again, I have to get approval for this and approval for the funds. which again shouldn't be too much of an issue. Did you have any other issues or problems with this, or any other concerns for the civil office I really need to know about while we're here?
No, but potentially if we do a good job with this, we would consider doing the other levels as well.
Well, yes, they're practically all connected in a way. Some of them are difficult to get to than others. The only thing is the two sides do have different systems. So that is where the separation would have to happen, but there's definitely some sections you wouldn't be able to get to without that, because I will say, by mapping it, it does go through multiple layers, but it looked like some of them were like full blown, like 60, 100-foot drops to go like 3 or 4 layers down that don't have like a ladder or anything. So like it seems like it's all connected by one sewer system, but it's not all easily traversable. Like it's not like you could start at the top and go all the way to the bottom just by walking. Or at least it seemed like from how much you mapped so far. But yeah, he tells you there's a few entrances for the different layers, and there's definitely ways to get pretty much everywhere in it. And there's older tunnels and there's newer tunnels that all haven't really been sorted out. But he goes, Sunez can give you more details. I'll make sure to give him the details once I've confirmed it. Just go over to his establishment or his setup and talk to him when I get approval. I would just check in tomorrow. He'll know by tomorrow. But again, I'm assuming I can get this done. It's not going to be too much of an ask, and I don't get to ask too much, even though I ask for a lot, like fixing certain buildings and other things like that, and I don't ever get that. But luckily, people dying, well, not luckily, but people dying does speed up the things. No, that's seriously a slip of the tongue he has.
Yeah.
And he just like, obviously it's a terrible thing, but it does make things move faster.
So if we were to like
Walrus, don't finish that thought.
kidnap people and put them down in the sewers,
Walrus.
we would go faster. Okay. It was just a
I will pretend I didn't hear that,
Sorry.
assuming that you're not thinking about that all the way through.
No, I'm not. I'm thinking about it. If I eat one of the cubes, what happens?
You will die, Walrus.
See, Alana's kind of look at him in a weird look, and kind of looks at the rest of the group.
Turn into a jelly baby.
He has his uses.
Just kind of shrugs a little bit. And he goes, either way, I do have more meetings unless there's something else that needs to be brought up. Snowflake, I would like to work together on this one as much as possible. Get your knowledge on this. You are part of the reason those things are down there. If there's something wrong going on, I want to be certain you know of it. And he kind of shakes his head up and down, and he's like, well, of course, we don't want something terrible to happen. And, yeah. At the moment, unless you don't have any other questions, it seems like the meeting is practically done.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, after having this discussion and everything like that, you guys kind of leave his office, and you see the assistant's kind of working at the desk, and he just kind of points down the hallway. He's like, yeah, just back down that way, and you'll get back to the lobby area, and, head out. And, in the money for the job you did, because I heard that talking, yeah, and he kind of describes a particular individual at the front. talk to that person and they have it. And so you guys go up to the front and wait for a second and get that. And I will add that to your sheets in a second. But after you get that, you see Snowflake is kind of in thought for a moment as you guys kind of walk back up to him, and he's just like, oh, well, I am also busy as well, so I will talk to the Sunez character, assuming this gets approved, and make sure he gives me updates as well, and hopefully I'll hear from the rest of you if anything strange occurs, and I will start to look into it a little bit just to make sure there's nothing going on kind of in our circles, I guess, that could have caused this. Either way, I hope to see you all in the future again. Maybe, hopefully you get to join another class eventually.
Perhaps. Might be fun.
Well,
Thank you for your time. It was helpful to have you along.
It was.
all right. And he just kind of bows a little bit, like not a full bow. He just kind of does a little half, and then kind of steps off and walks out the lobby area and out the door and into the main part of the city. So about now it's like closer to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So you still have a couple hours of the day. If there's absolutely anything you want to do.
So, reception dude, what's going on around town today?
More classes!
Kind of looks and he goes,
Is there a dance class?
That's actually really funny because what I was about to say is there isn't a seminar, and this is a different person than the person you talked to before. And he goes, there isn't a seminar, but there is a like a celebration party at the 4th layer for some sort of I don't. It's just a festival. I don't even know what it's about. It's not really written here. So there is a festival going on. It seems like a very small community thing. Like it's not like the whole city is having a festival. It's more like a very small part of one of the layers seemingly is doing one.
It's a high school putting on like the. We're going back to the anime.
It's more
theme,
like
man.
it's more like a cul-de-sac party, to be honest.
Okay,
That's
gotcha.
kind of the best way I could describe it. Like a whole cul-de-sac getting together and doing a small thing. It's kind of more like that. But a few more people than that.
A block party. Heck yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's a block party basically.
There's gonna be like grilled meats and like kettle corn.
You could go. I'm offering it to you as a thing to go do. It is up to you guys if you actually go do it.
I'm up for a festival.
That is not Goodbrad's thing, but I want to go.
Been to one street festival near my apartment. It was hell. People just throw corn on the ground. I don't know why.
Ugh.
Don't know why.
Perhaps we go check it out and see if we are even welcome at such a small gathering.
I'd like to go.
If nothing else, free food.
I'm always happy with free food.
Just as I'm saying, that's directed right at Walrus.
Yep, and he seems pretty happy about that idea.
Receiving his coins and walking out of the place. The other town paid a lot better.
Yeah. It was a decently small job. And it you knew it wasn't gonna pay that much going into it. I think it was marked as 20, but you guys were like, "I will do it anyway." But you were paid a little bit extra because of the danger. That apparently was relayed. Again, it's not that much at the moment, but
Yeah.
potentially
We got another job out of it, though.
yeah,
and some
but this
contacts,
like
so-
extended mapping idea, and depending on how much danger is along the way, it will probably pay a good amount more. But nothing too crazy. I will say you do know, especially kind of now leaving the town and realizing, you understand that the rewards were a little bit more greater in the other town because they were in a little bit more desperate situations. There were seemingly more dangerous things going on, and they didn't have, they were more enticing people to get it done. While these are just things that there are a lot of people in the city and they kind of expect it to get done eventually.
Yeah. Just a mundane job.
Yeah. So it's kind of a different mindset of the town at the moment, for the two separate ones. But you can make your way to the block party. Kind of, you do have to take another lift down a couple layers, but this is kind of actually the lowest you've been down at the moment, and you are starting to slowly realize that the lower you do go, it does seem to get a little bit more of a poorer neighborhood. That as you continue down, it is almost like it's not 100%, but it does seem like you see a little bit. You do see smaller homes, smaller shops, more people in general, like not as great attire. So you do seem to be not anything bad, but you're getting more into those kinds of districts as you go lower, and you do see what looks like this kind of festival. There are just small little tents built out in some of the pathways between all these buildings. There's seemingly just a lot of people walking about. They seem to have food. There seems to be music being played a little bit farther away. That people are kind of, there's like a small little like dancing area that is got some people surrounding it at the moment, some people dancing in the middle. You see a few just people hanging out, like, to be honest. There's not too much to do. There's not like games or anything like that. It's just more of just food and drink and fun and those kinds of things. If you want to try to do anything specific, you can, or we could just say you guys spend the night here and head back to the tavern. Up to you guys.
Goodbrand is incredibly uncomfortable.
That's perfectly fine.
I'm just gonna
Eat as
chill
much
and
food as
relax.
I can.
Eat a bunch of food, relax.
And listen to the music, enjoy the atmosphere, basically.
That's perfectly fine. Goodbrand, make a perception check.
Egg Eflaon to tell a story. Let's see here. Perception.
Yeah, the uncomfortability is going to help you actually be looking. So you're generally on the lookout most of the time anyway, because of Olive and everything else going on. But even the comfortability of this party and all the people around is kind of giving you even more of the lookout. You do see, kind of on the other side of the crowd, a strange, like, more cloaked figure that you see just for like a second and then kind of goes into one of the darker alleyways and just kind of vanishes from sight for a moment.
I want to kind of make my way over there. Like, I'm not like necessarily trying to pursue this guy. I mean, people wear cloaks.
Yeah,
something just feels
I
wrong
would say
about it. So
the reason I will say the reason you noticed it is because the person was trying. It looked like whatever this person was trying to not be noticed. Like, yeah, that was the whole reason you noticed
it feels wrong, and so I just kind of investigate a little bit. Just kind of make my way over there. I'm not like running over there or anything, but kind of nonchalantly, just kind of taking a look.
Okay. You go over there, kind of look down the alleyway. Now it is darkened and you don't have dark vision, but the light of the festival is giving a little bit down the thing. You do not see the figure. it might be way farther down or around the corner or something like that.
I would not have gone anywhere where I wouldn't still have eyes on Olive, though.
No, yeah, I assume. That's why I assume you're not going any farther.
Okay.
But kind of, I would say make another perception check now that you're over here, though.
Okay.
Just to see if you notice a different thing.
Perception.
Okay.
I mean-
20. You do notice that one of the storefronts that's about 3 doors to your left, you notice that it looks like the door is just barely cracked open.
Okay. I kind of look back at where Elle is. Is Elle with the rest of the... is Olive with the rest of the party?
I'm not sure, actually.
I mean, I would assume that if we're all just hanging out.
Yeah, I'd assume
Is-
Walrus is pretty much
Is
by
the
himself
walrus
eating.
near her?
Assuming, yeah, he is, I'll say.
Okay.
I'll say he would have gotten
And-
food and came back near the group and had
Then
been
Yeah.
eating.
I'm gonna kind of think about it for a second, but I'm gonna enter the alley and I'm gonna go up to that door. I'm trying to be sneaky, but I don't do that very well, and I'm at
Okay.
disadvantage. So
No, I will say, the alley is separate. The door that is cracked open is along the street to your left. So they're not in the same
Oh.
direction.
So like I think that maybe
I'm saying the way it looked like the figure
Yeah.
was coming from that door and went into the alley.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
So you're basically either you can go towards the cracked door or you can try to go down the alley.
I'm gonna go down the alley.
Okay.
Actually,
That's up to you.
yeah, I'm gonna go down the alley.
Okay. You go down the alley. It goes about 15-ish feet before it goes into another street, which you do see some people and crowds and everything like that.
Mhm.
I will say with your 2 perception checks is enough. You do see what looks like the little back of the cloak go dart into another alleyway that looks like like 3 kind of blocks down a little bit.
About how far away?
40-ish feet, maybe 45-ish feet.
Okay, hold on just a second. Because I need to just check something real quick. I cast Hold Person.
Okay, sure. What save is that? Wisdom, looks like.
Yes.
Wisdom of 14.
Yeah.
You see the figure as it's barely getting around the corner. So you're just seeing the tail end of it, just enough to try to cast the spell. You quickly cast it, and you see it like slow for a minute and like almost lock up, but it seemingly does break through it. Yeah, it got a 16. So
Shit, I run and I cast it again.
okay.
Hurling it at him.
You do have to get through the crowd.
Yeah.
You basically bulldoze through the crowd to get over to the alleyway. Roll a perception check for me.
Okay. God damn it. Quit making me roll stuff. I roll terribly.
No,
Gotta-
because I want to see
Gotta
if you
believe.
see that this is great. This is great. You do not see the figure, but what you see instead is 30 to 40 feet down the alleyway. You realize this alley is really close to the actual back wall of this layer. You see at the very tail end what looks like a little bit of light, and it's the only thing that's giving you enough vision to see what this is.
Mhm.
A little bit of light, almost like when a door is closed and there's light on the other side, you see that little bit of light coming out the crack. You
Yeah.
see a little bit of light as well, but that light disappears immediately. Almost as if something like closed in front of you. But kind of, you don't see the figure, but running down, you notice that the alley just
Yeah.
continues along the back wall, and you don't, like, it's dark, but it's not extremely dark, and there's enough light around that you look down and you don't see the figure at all. And looking, it just looks like a bare wall.
Yeah.
where it is.
I take what do I have? Hold on. Features and traits, equipment. There we go. Do I have? I don't even have a knife. Damn it. Seriously, I don't have a knife.
Yeah.
I have a mess kit. The mess kit would have some sort of implement. I want to carve like an X where I saw the light.
Sure, I can even say you can use your mace. Like the mace has a sharp enough point on one of the sides that you can.
Yeah.
You could just. It's not going to be extremely visible.
And I don't want it to be.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
It's enough where, if you look close enough, you know where it is. And you're kind of getting to the end. You're not 100% sure where it is, but you're pretty sure. So you're marking that point, but you know it's somewhere very close to that at least.
Yeah, exactly. And then I want to rush back to my party, and get Artis.
So yeah, at first you guys are like looking around, and then you kind of look around and you're like, "Don't Goodbrand leave? He probably left." And then like a few seconds later, he kind of barrels over to the group.
Artis.
Artis is dancing with the locals.
Yes, I grab him on the shoulder and I kind of pull him, like a little frustrated, a little like a little ruder than I should be. Like,
Hey!
Yeah, Artis,
What's
I
going
need you. Come with me now.
I was just getting friendly, man. All right, let's go. What's up?
Excuse us, ladies. Come. And I take him over to the shop that I saw the door open. Is it still open?
Yeah. It doesn't seem to have been touched. There have been people walking by, but it doesn't seem to have been messed with.
Don't touch anything, but there was a man. He came from this door and snuck out an alleyway. I tried to stop him, but he went into a wall.
Okay, do you know which one?
I could show you the wall later, but I'm wondering if you have a better eye for detail. What does it look like they broke in, or like can you investigate? Do your Batman shit.
All right, well, it's probably gonna look a bit suspicious.
Listen up.
About now like 20 to 30 people are looking towards your direction now that you're yelling.
There was a strange man, and I think he broke into the shop. I chased him. I could not catch him. But the door is already open. We did not open this door, but we are going to take a look inside. Does anyone know whose shop this is?
You see a few people like look and like are looking around, and another person finally speaks up and just kind of goes, "Hey, that's Clyde's shop.
Is Clyde here?"
He's somewhere, I don't know where."
Well, I think he might have been robbed.
I'll go look. And you see like two gentlemen kind of walk off and maybe go look for him.
All right, I'm gonna go check the door lock and see if there's any scratches.
I mean, it looks like half of the group that turned does like start to walk away and not really care, but the other half is now like, it's like the group that looks at a car wreck and they're like, "Oh my gosh, what happened?" Oh, and they're not even doing anything. They're just like watching and they're like whispering to each other. Like,
instead of standing around, you could go find Clyde, right?
A lot of them kind of look at each other, and a few do walk off because of guilt, but a few people are just kind of like walk a little bit farther back and kind of just stay there. Yeah.
Okay.
So make an investigation check, Artis, just to check the door. Um, it doesn't look like it's been forced open, I will say. Doesn't look like anyone kicked in the door. It's hard to tell with that check if it has been used, like if it, like a key used to open it, or someone picked it. It could be either. You don't see any markings of like someone using a lockpick or thieves' tools, but that could be someone was very skilled and didn't make a mistake. So you're unsure, but it wasn't like kicked door open or forced open or pried open. It just looks like it was
nothing obvious here. No one's tried to brute force it, and if they picked it, they did a good job. The rest of the markings just look like general wear and tear.
I'm
It's
just
not a
kind of
new
wandering through the crowd at this point, yelling, "Is there a Clyde here who owns this store?"
okay. About 7 minutes later. It's a bit of time because it's a large crowd and stuff. You do see, the couple of the gentlemen come back with what looks like an older, human gentleman, kind of longer graying beard and kind of a decently long graying hair as well, and kind of coming around, and he's like, you don't have to keep yelling my name. I'm right here. And this is my store. People are telling me someone might have broke into it.
Well, unless you know a lot of hooded figures who sneak out of your shop and down alleyways and into halls. Yes.
Oh. He kind of looks, he's starting to look very upset, and doesn't really say anything, and he kind of just is like, well, and he kind of moves past you guys and opens the door all the way. You just see a darkened interior. He kind of looks around and he goes, nothing seems out of place yet. And then he goes back behind what looks like a smaller desk that's kind of in the back. It's just a general store, so it just has general tools, you know, plates, forks, just things you would buy generally for people who would need it. But it's called general store. And he goes to the desk and he kind of looks and he goes, yeah, they took it. And he kind of continues to look just to make sure. Like, yep, they took the money. Of course they would. It's what?
Sorry, I tried to stop him.
It's fine, they didn't take all of it. Well, actually, you know what? He kind of walks. You see him duck under the desk, actually. He doesn't walk anywhere. He ducks under the desk. And you hear what sounds like movement and wood scraping. And he goes, well, they got the second one. I don't know how they found out about that. And then he kind of walks over to another corner and you see him pull up one of the wood boards. And he goes, well, at least they didn't get this one yet. And he kind of... This is what? Fourth time? How long? I don't even remember. But they didn't get all of it again. That's at least good. But now I gotta move hiding spots again. He starts counting what he seemingly has in that one spot.
Is this normal around here?
We don't really like to talk about it.
Well, maybe that's why it's still a problem.
No, it becomes a problem when you talk about it.
You considered investing in better security?
Well, if I had the money, which doesn't look like I do, I might have thought about it.
And your local town guard, they do nothing.
Well, they're more worried about the upper layers. To an extent. There's a couple that wander around here, but pretty lazy.
Well, as I said, I tried to stop him. I'm sorry that I was unable to.
That's fine. It's not blaming you by any means. It's not that you didn't do anything. Well, I'm assuming you didn't do anything. But it doesn't matter. I'll lock back up. just try to enjoy the rest of the night. Not like they're probably going to steal the rest of it anyway. And he kind of
I wish you better luck.
he looks like he actually takes the rest with him and locks up.
Yeah, I walk away back to the party and just go sit down, being uncomfortable again.
So where's this magic wall? Disappearing wall.
Well, maybe we come back, but it is just. I'll show you here. Come on. Well, I don't want. What's Olive doing right now?
I mean, assuming you guys are just outside the store and haven't gone back to the party, you kind of glance over. I mean, she's just she's vibing. she's dancing a little. She's kind of watching how much Walrus is eating and kind of looks like she's kind of looking a little worried about how much he's eating.
There's nothing to do about it now. Let's just let the rest of them, and you can go back. They seem to like you. I mean, I'm sorry I had to drag you away from that.
That's fine. I'm curious now.
You and I will go, but I won't. I won't leave Olive alone in this place, and I don't want to disturb her right now.
Fair enough. Then let's go join the party and we'll keep our eyes open.
Yeah, I am just like fucking Hawkeye the rest of the goddamn time.
Yeah, I mean, you were Hawkeye before seeing that guy. Yeah, you continue doing that. I won't even make you roll. You don't see anything else out of the ordinary or anything suspicious. You do keep an eye out for figures like that or anything else strange, but nothing of the sort until the group is ready to head back to the tavern at the moment. So
Cool. I think, yeah, we just finish up the party and head back to the tavern and go to sleep.
okay. So upon kind of partying a little bit more, as much as you would like, whether that be stuffing your face, dancing, or just sitting uncomfortably, you continue on for another hour or so before realizing that it's a lot of people are leaving, the band is slowing down, it's generally over and you guys are starting to feel decently tired anyway. So heading back to the tavern, couple layers back up and getting some rest, perfectly easy to do. And I will go ahead and just hit long rest so I don't forget. And then we will go ahead and just end there. It's a good place to stop at the moment. Got another job, found some very interesting things, noticed
And
some
we
very
saw the
strange
Thieves Guild
things.
for the first time.
Yeah.
And I found a secret entrance.
Ooh.
You barely saw a secret entrance.
Yeah.
Barely.
Yeah.
I actually,
but now I know that that's something that they're doing.
Guess what? The DC for that was 25, and that's what you rolled. So
Oh my god, yes.
it was like a barely. It was close. But you now slightly have a little bit more insight into them. Either way, thank you guys for joining. For anyone who followed or anything, thank you for doing that. We'll hopefully see everyone here next week. I'm hoping everyone has happy holidays. Those are coming up soon, very soon, in like 3 days. So hopefully everything goes well, and we'll hopefully see you guys next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right, guys.
Happy holidays.